Are we ready to start?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. This is an Animorphs Book Club podcast. We're a podcast talking about this and that, and the Animorphs books by Capelgate. So far, most of them have been pretty great. Be Natural has read all of the books, but for the rest of us, this is our first look. We got Batter, I'm Mustard, and don't forget Stir.
Hi.
Discussing book 23, The Pretender.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's what's the intro music.
That's beautiful.
I had to time it out. That's why I wrote that, because I was editing episode 17 and Be Natural's intro was on beat
Yeah.
for like 2 seconds.
I remember you posting about that.
This is an Animorphs Book Club podcast. We're a podcast.
I don't think I
Anyway,
said it.
I hope this isn't anyone's first episode, so they have to hear that as the podcast
What is
introduction.
That's the clock.
That's
It
the
goes up
clock.
every 15 minutes.
Okay, so that's just gonna be in this now.
That's
okay.
fine.
Alright, if Mustard's okay with it, I'm okay
The
with
clock
it.
is fine.
Now people know how
It's
much
a
time
Yerk clock,
passes.
Yeah.
Now people know like how much you're editing out.
Yeah.
From that, they're gonna figure out our true names and where
Can I
we
see the
live.
book?
We're gonna-
'Cause that my notes are like that book.
Oh wait, just for clarity, let's
They're
introduce
inside
ourselves.
the book.
Well, they are that book.
He took no
You
notes.
still have a PDF, don't you?
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to recognize the
The
pages.
pages
if I
are
look in the
different.
PDF.
Okay, introduce yourselves.
Oh, okay.
I'm Be Natural.
I'm better.
I'm Mustard.
I'm Stir.
Okay. I already said what book we read. It was very clear.
Alright, let's hop in. Mustard is also doing the summary, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we're going to quick summarize the book and then talk about it. That's how this podcast works. My summary will take a few minutes, probably.
I got to listen to Mustard's intro already.
Everyone's computers are muted, right?
I mean, summary. I got to listen to Mustard's summary already.
Yeah, no one heard that intro yet. I was very excited about that intro.
Well, you did a good job.
It was stupid. I hate it. Anyway, this book is narrated by Tobias. He lives as a hawk in a meadow, but there's another hawk that started living near there recently, and that hawk has been taking Tobias's mice and stuff. And there's also a family of rabbits nearby, and throughout the book, there are multiple times when Tobias tries to attack one of the rabbits, but as he's doing it, he suddenly has a vision that he's one of the rabbits being attacked by a hawk, and then he fails to grab the rabbit. So that happens in like multiple chapters throughout the book. Anyway, so because of these problems, Tobias is starving, so he eats roadkill, which he's very embarrassed about. Rachel tells him that a lawyer who supposedly used to work for his now-dead father wants to talk to him. This lawyer is also representing a woman named Arya, who claims to be Tobias' cousin and says she wants to give Tobias a new home. It seems suspicious, but he decides to go along with it. He morphs into his human form and meets with the lawyer, who tells him that his father left a final statement that is to be read to Tobias on his upcoming birthday, which is in a few days. Then Tobias goes to the hidden valley of Free Hookbridger to talk to them. The Hookbridger tell him that a baby Hookbridger named Beck has gone missing. They also tell him about a new secret yoke facility that's being built, and Tobias agrees to help them find the baby. Tobias does hawk things in his meadow, and there's an Animorphs meeting. Tobias and Rachel spy on the supposed cousin Arya to look for anything suspicious and find out if she's actually a controller. They follow her into this roadside zoo thing called Thanks of Land, which happens to be where the baby Hookbridger is now, being held in a cage for customers to look at. And Arya doesn't seem very suspicious. I mean, Arya, she doesn't seem suspicious while they're looking at her. So the Animorphs decide to break into the zoo and steal the baby Hookbridger, but the plan doesn't work out because Visser Three shows up and steals the baby. And Tobias is upset because he thinks that his human feelings are messing up his life as a hawk. The next day, Axe and Tobias spy on Arya for like 8 hours, and she spends most of the day in her bathroom or apartment or whatever. And they also see her save a girl that's about to get run over by a car, so they're like, oh yeah, she's definitely a real human. A controller wouldn't save someone getting run over by a car. So, with this belief, Tobias is very excited about finally having a home and being able to live with Arya as a human. And he considers whether he wants to continue being an Animorph or morph as a hawk or morph into his human body and remain human for the rest of his life. And he talks to Rachel about this and stuff, but whatever, that's not important. And the Animorphs have another meeting, and they're like, oh, let's go save the baby Hookbridger. It's probably at that facility. So they break into it with some help from Hookbridger, and there's a fight and stuff. But while they're there, Tobias sees Arya flying in a helicopter and realizes that she's actually Visser Three in morph. Big twist. So now he knows the whole lawyer thing is a trap, and he's sad. But the next day is his birthday, so he goes to the lawyer's office anyway, because he knows it's a trap. But if he doesn't show up, then the people making the trap, Visser Three, is going to know that he suspects them, knowing he's an Animorph. So he has to go in pretending to be a normal human kid when his thing's read to him. And then the lawyer reads a statement to Tobias, which reveals that his father is an Andalite named Elfangor. The elements allowed Elfangor to send his son one message before he left his life on Earth, as we read in the Andalite Chronicles book. And this is really shocking, but because Tobias is so used to being in his hawk body, he doesn't make any facial expressions, despite his emotional response inside, which ends up saving his life because he's able to pretend that he just thinks his dad was crazy and that aliens don't exist. So he leaves the building and thinks about what just happened. And so he realizes that the lawyer was a controller, and the lawyer's dad worked for Elfangor. But when the dad died, the son inherited his work and noticed the name Elfangor, so they set a trap to see if Elfangor's human son was somehow related to the Andalite bandits. And Tobias continues being an Animorph, and he goes to Rachel's house, and she gives him birthday cake. The end.
Good
Nice.
summary. I didn't listen to it this time, but I listened to it last time when you read it to me before, and it was good.
Man, Adelaide Chronicles was so good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree.
Fangor.
I agree with Stir.
I had 14 pages of notes for this book.
Yeah, so Mustard, you said that this was your new favorite book.
Okay, yeah, let's go through a rating. So you gave it, okay, well, I'll give it a thumbs up.
I gave it a
Spoiler
6
alert.
out of 10.
No, but I'll
It's
give it a
closer
thumbs
to-
up.
Oh.
I gave it a star, indicating that's my new favorite, which,
It's not.
okay, so what happened, I read the book, I was like, that was a fantastic book. Excellent as always, Tobias. You're giving me a look. And I was like, outside of the emotional response I had to Tobias being able to morph back, did I enjoy this more than book 13? And I decided, yes, I think I did.
Okay.
But then later I was reminded of book 19. I was like, this isn't better than book 19.
Yeah, idiot!
What's book 19?
The York one with Cassie.
What?
I don't think anything is ever going to top book
Yeah.
19 for me at this point.
But I gave it a, you
That's
know,
how
but
I
it's,
feel about the Andalite Chronicles.
but it's like, the fact that I forgot
Yeah.
about it, it's like, it was a very, you know, I was using
That's
words.
fine. It was what you were thinking in the moment.
Yeah, well,
Alright.
I did, it was a hesitant start. I had to think about it, like I said. And I didn't give it a
You-
hurt. I
You
gave
didn't
my,
think about all the other books that you already favorited?
I thought about 13. I forgot, but I gave 13 and 19. I gave them both hurts because I was like, I love this book. This
Right.
one I didn't give a hurt,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like my notes were like stuff like this is intriguing, this is interesting, that was an excellent book. I don't use big words like that usually. I say like this
No,
is
you
cool,
don't.
this is funny, yeah.
I would have to say this is probably my least favorite Tobias book so far.
I thought you were about to say least favorite book.
No, no.
What?
Of
That-
all the books I've read
That
my
would
whole
make
life.
0 sense since I actually did give this a thumbs up.
I'm surprised you guys liked this book.
Why?
At all. Like, I thought, because before I read this book, all I remembered about it was this is the book where they introduce a character who could be cool, but then it turns out it's Visser Three.
Yes,
that's
and
all.
I
Stop
did
whittling.
not like that.
That's all I
You guys
remember.
didn't like that?
That's
No.
all I remembered about this book, and I was like, you guys have already
Did
been
you
complaining
miss
that
Visser 3 or something?
you guys have already been complaining that Visser 3 has been showing up in every book for no reason, and like this is just gonna be more
Mm.
of that.
I thought some of this book felt like it was like almost like rushed or
I
like
was
too
almost
convenient.
saying this because I thought they're totally gonna mishandle how Tobias like decides to be a hawk again, but I think Cavalgate squeaked through. I think I liked how she ended up doing it. She was very clever about it, even though Arya, yeah.
Another thing I like
still
about the
looking
book
Visser 3.
is, first of all, I did the summary, so I was taking a lot more notes than usual, and I read it on a very long car ride, most of it, which maybe that's like the Hook with your Chronicles. I was doing something boring. That could be part of it, but I was like, my mind was so active when I was reading this book. I was like theorizing about like, oh, how is this gonna happen? Who is this character? Is she a controller? I didn't think she was gonna be Visser 3. That surprised me.
Everyone-
Yeah,
to be
okay,
Visser
yeah, that
3
was
and
surprising. Yep.
And my mind was blown from that.
I'm so glad that you were that engaged with this.
I like
This
how
book was like a
I'm very
puzzle trying to
happy for
figure
you.
out like, okay, it was like a mystery novel. It was like a mystery book, dude.
I guess so.
It was like, oh, who's
And I hate
No,
this
I
book.
agree with you. I agree with you on that. Yeah, but
Um,
I just
I like how Tobias knows that something's up because Visser 3 is too worried about how his hair looks.
that was dumb.
that was weird. Okay, there
She
were
just lived in Africa for a few years.
There-
Why would she care
there-
about her hair?
Yeah, that
some
was
of this
dumb.
book has that's not very good explanations for stuff that happens. But I don't
That's-
there
care.
was
the
some
thing.
stuff that was
And
like,
there is some intriguing stuff, but it just wasn't very well organized or written, or it didn't really come up in places that made sense.
Yeah, but it didn't matter to me. Like, there's one part where like they like go in the thing, but like they just
Thing.
morph, so they should be like half naked, but they don't really care. Like they're like around people.
Oh, the Frank Safari.
Yeah, they don't fake safari after
That's
morphing.
the kind of place where if you walk in there without a shirt
Yeah,
and
you
shoes,
walk in
they'll
there
be
with, like,
fine.
I
whatever.
guess, but like
Wait, what?
It's
Who
a
says they were shirtless?
it's a trashy place. No, I'm saying
No,
if
they just morphed.
I'm saying if
They
they.
have
Oh,
just
because they
jumpsuits
weren't
I'm
on.
saying
wearing
you could
shoes?
wear you could walk
Alright.
in there without a shirt and then he'd be fine with it.
I
So
guess,
Alright.
yeah.
There were
Okay.
definitely things where I was like, did Cavalcade just not think of this? Like certain things, I'll get to that.
I couldn't
but-
think of any other
Yeah,
examples.
that
but
kind of
I
stuff
remember
really
thinking that
is
a lot in this
detrimental.
book.
And there were a lot of stuff where it's like, that seems like weirdly convenient, but
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah, a
weirdly
lot of
convenient
weirdly
stuff.
there was
stuff.
nothing where I was like, most of them I was like, yeah, but I'll buy it. There was nothing that I was like, that is too
You gotta
convenient.
you gotta
Yep.
suspend
For me
your
personally,
disbelief.
I
as
barely
we
gave
go
this
through
book
the
a
notes,
thumbs
I'll
up.
say like the different stuff that I was theorizing because I think a lot of it's interesting.
I like that Tobias like kind of goes through his TV show persona where he's just like an edgelord
What?
for the
Yeah,
end. He's like a
he
snotty
does.
edgelord at the
Oh
end of the
yeah.
book.
Oh, you mean
about?
like from the TV series?
Yeah.
You mean his act? You mean?
Yeah, where he just
Talking of Visser
where he
Three.
just like wears sunglasses and a
That
leather
was such
jacket
a cool
and,
scene. I love
and
that.
ignores his friends.
Okay.
Okay, are we gonna go in order now? That we
Yeah, well, I don't have any notes this time. All I did was read the book.
I have barely any notes.
I had 14 pages of notes and I spent like 30 minutes organizing them
Yeah, I
last
have a
night.
normal amount of notes.
I wonder who Rachel number 1 is.
I should say 14 pages.
She's whiny and obnoxious.
It's
She
like
was just the Rachel who existed before Animorphs.
14 pages includes
dead
like
now.
chapter 1 next line, chapter 2 next line, so 30 of the like a whole page is just the chapters. And I was writing it on my phone while in the
Wow.
car, so like sometimes the full line would just be like, oops, typo there. I didn't feel like going back and editing it. Anyway, this book
I
starts
mean, this
out.
book was like a mystery book, but I don't think it made me think harder
It made me think.
than another book.
It made me think about how this would make sense at all because some of the things didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
was like, I had to come up with a reason why the Yerks didn't just take Tobias at the end anyway. I was like, okay, I guess they have a limited number of Yerks now. Okay.
No, they said, oh,
No,
it's
they're-
a
Visser
Visser
Three is
He's
dumb.
just a street rat. He's useless to the Yerk guys.
Like
Okay.
I was under
As
the
if
impression that they
Yerks
were
wouldn't,
taking
like,
like elementary school
Take
kids.
anything they wanted. Like freaking Karen.
Yeah, I was
Who's
under the
Karen?
impression that they were taking elementary school kids and stuff, but I guess like they only want whatever. They only have a limited number of Yerks now.
I was thinking
okay.
it's because like he lives out in the street, so
He has
might,
no social
he might
connections.
die. He doesn't have any social connections. He doesn't like go to school or anything.
Yeah, how's he gonna get to the
and
York
people
pool?
are. He's not gonna entice people into the sharing.
Or he doesn't have a life that he needs to maintain. He's just another body that they could use.
Right, so he could just live with the Yerks full time.
Yeah, he could just
Well,
be
listen,
Yerking
That's
full
a
time.
good
Listen,
idea.
listen.
Yerking full
The
time.
explanation given in the book is Visser Three is stinky and dumb and full of himself.
Bad book.
So therefore,
Makes
they don't
good
take
points.
him.
What a compelling character and a compelling reason for the character even surviving. Wow.
One thing I like about this book is that Tobias says that he can become human for 2 hours at a time, and those last 4 words reminded me of that song
Yeah.
that Dream made about the mask.
I become human for 2 hours at a time.
Anyway, my first note. Wait, is this my first note? Oh yeah. Well, my first note is you'd assume I have arms and legs and a face and a mouth, and it's like, are you telling me Tobias doesn't have a face either? I know he doesn't. Apparently, birds don't have mouths, but apparently he doesn't have a
I didn't
face.
think about that. That's funny. I just thought this whole paragraph was dumb. You would assume just because I have a human name that I am a human. But actually,
that makes sense. I thought that. I think Tobias would be a
But then,
human.
yeah, I was mad about that, but I was like, I guess if this was the first book that you read, you'd be confused. Whatever.
There goes the grandfather Clark.
So chapter 1, Tobias is in a field, and he's having trouble with being a hawk, and he's starving to death, and he's like, well, I could go to the other Animorphs, but how weak is that? How could I go begging to help them deal with the situation? I should be able to handle it myself. And it's like, I don't know, dude, you're a hawk. Like, clearly you have it harder than them. You shouldn't feel bad to ask for help.
Just morph to human, then eat spaghetti at Jake's house.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
exactly the note I wrote.
I came to the determination, because we don't know this yet.
Spaghetti at Jake's house.
Well, not spaghetti.
I have a feeling that based on this book,
Chili at
Hamburger.
Cassie's house.
I have a feeling that morphing, eating, and then morphing back does not sustain you.
No, I think it does.
So you think Visser Three has to eat like andalite
Isn't there a
grass?
scene in this book where Tobias turns a human and then eats as much as he can? No, he turns
No.
he turns back to a red hair. All right, fine. He demorphs, eats as much as he can, and then morphs again.
Not in this
That
book.
doesn't
What?
count
What?
as
Talking-
demorphing.
when did
What
he
are you
do
talking
that?
about?
What?
When he turns into the rabbit at the end, doesn't
Who's-
he eat as
what?
much as he can?
I don't remember that
No.
at all.
No, he finds the cat in the road and he eats as much as he can.
As a hawk, yeah.
Okay, well, I was talking about that. I was saying, Mustard probably doesn't count that because he's demorphing and not morphing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Yes. Yeah.
Whatever.
Wait, so you think
No, you
do
can't.
you
don't
think
care
that-
about this.
He's
Okay.
not in morph.
No, well, okay, you can eat and morph, but I think with whatever body you're morphing into, it sustains that body. Yeah, food doesn't like.
But I mean, if that were the case, why didn't he just say so?
because Capoeira
Capoeira didn't think of it.
Okay.
It's like
One of the
Ramsey
things
and
Capoeira
Rachel.
didn't think
So
of.
Mustard is like imagining that this world actually exists and that these are the rules, but Capplegate doesn't know them because she's only like writing about them and not.
No, it's just not worth mentioning.
I was annoyed by the plot of him like angsting that he doesn't want help because like haven't all the other Animorphs already angsted about that?
Yeah.
Like,
I don't think they know each other's angst.
yeah, but I like
That's the problem.
it seemed to come out of nowhere. This one, it's like, oh, we have another book about them not wanting help. Okay.
Well, no.
Tobias has mentioned that before, hasn't he?
I don't care about this. I don't care about this as much as this is hawk related. So I like
No,
it.
it
Kinda-
seems fine to
no,
me. It didn't seem like it was covered by other ground.
Yeah, it was. So that's why I didn't hate it that much. He said, humans would be disgusted by the sight of me killing and eating a baby rabbit. But if I eat the adult female, then the babies would all die. But if I only kill the baby, the mother would survive to breed again, breed to eat more babies for me to take, to rip apart to eat. I thought that was interesting hawk insight.
Yeah, infinite food.
Okay, so one thing,
Life hack.
an instance of this book being confusing and cryptic. So the first chapter, he's like about to eat a rabbit,
Mm-hmm.
but then he suddenly.
I was upset that there is no supernatural explanation for this.
Really? I was put.
You were probably glad about that.
I was
but
glad because I was like,
I don't
finally,
really get
something
it, why
that's
it
not
happened anyway.
just like the Elements did this, did it?
Yeah, so he's about to eat the rabbit, and then suddenly
I was actually
he-
surprised because I don't remember this.
Does
I
the
just
elements
remember
come up in anywhere other than Tobias and Axe?
no Rachel book.
We'll get to
Yes,
the
he
element.
comes. Yes, he does. Shut up.
Um,
Anyway,
he's about to eat a baby, a rabbit, but then as he's attacking it, he suddenly imagines that he is the rabbit being attacked by himself. And the first time this was in there, I was so confused by what happened. I thought he was attacked by a different hawk as a hawk.
Me too.
Yeah, me
Like, and I wrote that in my notes. And then the next chapter explained what happened. I was like, that was not made clear. You didn't say I was a rabbit. You just said suddenly talons would, because he
was just saying the other hawk is a threat.
he was just mentioning the other hawk, and I was like, oh, I assumed the other hawk was
exactly.
attacking
If the
him.
other hawk wasn't there, it would have been way clearer. But I think it's fine. It's confusing for Tobias too, so whatever. And he explains it eventually.
Yeah.
so.
It's just like this. The stuff in this book just seems a little sloppy.
Just a little sloppy.
Just
yeah.
a little bit. Nothing,
then-
nothing to deteriorate too much.
And then he considers that he might be like in an asylum, just imagining he's a hawk, and I was like, that's
Well, it is
scary.
kind
How
of
would I
bad writing
know?
because
Does
he's
a madman know he's mad? Does he realize that the delusion isn't real?
You went on a little too
wow,
long.
Tobias.
Why are you reading it like that?
That's how he
'Cause
said
that's how he
it.
Why are you
said it.
rolling your eyes right now?
That's how he
Stupid
said it.
line.
I thought it was cool. I thought the idea that
It's-
he's worried he's not real. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a valid.
but
It's a
he
valid
took it too
thing.
far in this line. He
guys.
just made it
Ash
silly.
Ketchum is in an insane asylum with a rabbit.
No,
and a
Ash
rat.
doesn't think he is. That's why that's stupid.
It's not stupid. It's a good theory. I like the
Ash
Ash in
is
a
in a
coma
coma.
theory.
Oh, because he got zapped by Pikachu.
Yeah, that's what. And he saw the hole. And,
So does this mean that Jesse and James aren't even real, and Meowth isn't real
There's
either?
another
That makes
Pokemon
sense because
podcast.
the physics don't apply to them.
I'm on chapter 3.
Yeah,
You
that
guys
does
have
make
notes?
sense. That's so sad. That's just so
Up to
sad
that.
though to imagine a world without
This is
Jesse
my new
and James.
headcanon because it makes Be Natural sad that Team Rocket Jesse is naturally real.
Team Rocket Jesse's not real. You're telling me
He's
Ash,
not real?
Ash and Jesse's mom can't get. I mean, Ash's mom and Jesse can't get together.
Okay, do you guys have notes for up to chapter 3?
I just said
It's just
Tobias-
This podcast is just gonna be like 90% mustard.
I just said Mustard. I just said Mustard has a lot of notes for this. I didn't say that. I said Tobias just feels bad for himself for 2 chapters.
Yeah, I don't got anything else until chapter 3.
Yeah, and like
I don't have anything till chapter 5. Look at
Oh,
me, I'm cool.
so he eats roadkill, and then Rachel catches him, and he's super
Okay,
embarrassed.
that's another How did he not see her coming with his super hawk hearing and his like? How
He's
often?
hungry.
How often as a human
He's
do
so
you
hungry.
just walk up to a hawk and just see it there?
She
that it
came
didn't
from
see you
behind a
before?
tree, which is the direction of her house. I don't know. I didn't think of that.
You didn't.
No.
It was really annoying to me.
What I thought was that I was like, he was embarrassed, and then she was like, "Oh, Tobias," and then he just flew away pretending to be a normal hawk, and she's like, "Oh." He's like, "Oh, hopefully she thinks I'm a normal hawk, but probably not." She feels so much pity for me, and it's like, I don't think she does, Tobias, and that annoyed me
Like, I guess Rachel's aware that hawks want their prey to be alive, but I wouldn't be thinking about that if I just saw him eating roadkill.
It was the narration is like the narration said she was embarrassed for him. I was like, would she know that's embarrassing? Like,
yeah, I don't know if she would really.
And it's like, who? I don't think she.
I think by the end it's confirmed that she like doesn't care about that. Like, she was more concerned about how he was in.
She was worried for him.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking through the whole book. Is like this whole plot about Tobias being embarrassed in front of Rachel was dumb because obviously she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like, is what I was thinking at least. And then something funny at the top of chapter 3, he mentions David. He's like, oh yeah, David. He's the one who got stuck in morph. But he just kind of doesn't mention that they're the ones who did that. Like, oh yeah, David, unfortunately stuck in morph.
Unfortunately, it's like when Visser 3 kills that horse controller. It's like, oh, poor Jalay 496.
Yeah, it is like that.
So,
the Animorphs are as bad as Visser 3.
So that was interesting. Maybe Cavalcade just didn't want them to seem like really bad because he would have to like have like a whole explanation of like why they had to do that. I guess
all they said was
they would seem like
okay,
bad
but if
people.
I was like just picking this book up for the first time and then I read, unfortunately, we had to trap him as a rat and leave him on a garbage island forever. I would be so much more interested in this series now if I read that they did something morally bad.
Yeah.
Or at least seeming morally bad. Like, I would be so much more interested in it than, it just happened.
But this book is about this book, okay? It's not about that book.
It says we'd worked plenty lately.
Well, then don't explain it at all.
With the horrifying matter of David, the first new Animorph. David had ended up like me, is what the Andalites called a Northlet, a person trapped in morph. But David had been trapped in the body of a rat. No flying for him.
It's this very like passive language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They use a passive voice instead of the active voice.
Yeah. Also, Tobias says that sometimes he goes to Rachel's window and does homework for her.
Yeah, I was like, how does he know how to do the homework if he hasn't been going to school?
So he's smart. He all he does is sit and think all day. He doesn't do anything.
So he just like came up with math
If
himself.
newborn babies could speak, they would be the most intelligent beings on Earth.
It's probably not hard math.
No, I think he's been doing it this whole time, so he keeps track of it.
If everyone in the world dropped out of school, we would have a much more intelligent population.
Why are you saying this? Stop.
That's what I said.
Satire.
Yeah, I hope no one actually thinks that.
There's the thing I feel like I had to cut out because you were like, oh, shut up, snowflake. And it's like, people aren't going to know they were being sarcastic with that.
Well, now they will.
Yeah, so I'll keep that in, I guess.
Okay.
I guess I'll continue with the plot because no one else is saying anything.
Yeah, this is a boring book, dude.
So the reason that Rachel knows about... This is my first, like, theory that I had, or just thinking about the plot.
Oh no, you're gonna be the theory guy now?
Yes, I'm usually the theory guy.
Okay, to save us some time, is this a theory that you still have, or is this disproven later?
No, this isn't just a theory. This is just well, it was just a thought I had. It was like, oh yeah, Chapman was looking for you because he was like, oh, your dad's lawyer or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, it's Chapman. If being in the Analyte Chronicle is going to become relevant suddenly, and no, it wasn't.
Aww.
That would have been cool.
Yeah, it would, but it wouldn't have made sense. I don't really care.
And then Chapman is actually Elvis, but he swapped places with the Elvis
impersonator. No Elvis. And then
Elvis is the one who gave Elvis the idea to say thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, and another note about was like, wait, is the father's lawyer going to be the Ellimist?
Oh, I was confused about that too. So Elfangor, Alan Fangor, had a lawyer, and the lawyer was just bumming around, like, still knowing that Alan existed, but he like disappeared or something, and then was just like, oh yeah, here's the paper.
Well, I think the
timeline of that kind of confused me. It wasn't explained in detail, but it didn't really have to be. I don't think.
I don't really care.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
This book had things that I simultaneously didn't care about, but also didn't understand how they worked.
Right. This book
I simultaneously didn't understand how it worked, and I didn't care to have it explained to me.
Yeah, I was just thinking about all
this is dumb.
That's part of why I think I was theorizing so much, is because it wasn't explained well.
Yeah.
I thought about that later. I was like,
I remember very little about this book from reading it the first time. Like I said, all I remember about it is that it's Arya and Visser Three.
When he morphs human, it says, I felt exposed without my feathers. I felt deaf and blind. It was as if someone had gotten hold of the brightness and contrast knobs on an old TV and turned them both down by half, and then lowered the volume to a whisper. If there's one big physical advantage of a human has over a hawk, it's the hand. Yes, human brains are the best around, but the brain would be nothing without the hand.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
cool.
Alright.
Those are interesting hawk insights that I wrote down.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, he goes and talks to the lawyer. That's the next thing that happens, I guess.
Or which chapter are we on now?
Like
Chapter
5.
5.
Okay. I like how Tobias says he pressed the can of soda to his beak, period, lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yes.
that.
Good formatting.
One of the few pieces of writing that I like in this book.
And I
I'm
thought
so
it was,
hard on this book. I still give it a thumbs up because it had like a decent plot.
I
There's
also,
some decent angst.
Yeah.
you guys sound so bummed out hearing me talk about this book. I'm sorry.
You're too excited, dude.
I am. I thought it was. I wrote that down, but I also thought it was interesting that I mean, this comes in later, obviously. But if you got how to make facial expressions, I was like, oh, that's interesting because he doesn't. do
Yes,
that as a
I'm
hawk.
really glad that became plot relevant at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Very
are?
cool. Are you not?
I mean, it seems like something people wouldn't like. I'm
I like
neutral on
things
it.
get set up in the end, like, you know, come back at the end.
This seemed like there was a lot of
Why
foreshadowing
would
about.
people not like that?
I don't know, because it's just like convenient. It's not just a cool little detail they put in. For example, a cool little detail. I'm not used to feeling cold things in my
I
mouth.
like it. No, cool little details are upgraded when they're actually like.
So you would like to.
Like, you know what? It would have probably been too convenient and stupid if it was only introduced at the end, but it wasn't. Like, she
Yeah.
put in the effort to introduce it at the beginning and brought
That's
it back at the
true.
end. It's good.
I kind of like it when you when there's no like if he just said, "Oh yes," and then it's my hawk, then like without mentioning. So would you have liked it if Tobias was like, "Oh, something happened because he liked cold engines in his mouth, and that saved the day"?
Because
would
it
have been
wasn't ever
dumb.
established that he likes cold things.
No,
in
it's
his mouth.
established.
When? Oh, because
Mustard.
he always eats warm things.
Well, it says like as a hawk, I'm not used to having cold things in my mouth, and I thought that was an
Yeah.
interesting
So what if
detail.
that came back? Would that be cool?
Sure. Yeah.
This isn't interesting. Moving on. My next note's on chapter 6.
I have chapter 5.
Okay. Stop flipping
The-
pages.
I like how loud this book is.
No, it's too loud.
It's such a satisfying book to turn the pages.
It is
on.
satisfying sounding. I like it. This chapter ends with with really weird, like the dialogue is, I get by okay. So when did you say you're going to read this document? On your birthday. Ah, okay, bye. Then the chapter ends.
That's
Like,
pretty realistic.
really?
What's wrong with
Okay.
That seems
This I
fine.
felt like was gonna be a major conflict, and then it wasn't, and then that's kind of annoying that it wasn't, because then why was it even in there in the first place?
So that he can find out-
That's what happened. That's what happened. in the
Yeah, I
story.
thought it was a cool detail that he forgot his birthday. And when he said that, I was like, why is this a conflict? Just look at the newspaper to see what date it is. Or look in the... I actually had the thought, just look in school records to see when his birthday is or something. You
It was
can,
like,
you can figure out his
doesn't
birthday.
none of the friends knows it. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, like Marco ends up looking up his birthday. But I
Yeah.
guess the conflict was he was embarrassed to admit that he didn't know his birthday. I think he mentioned that once.
I don't know being natural.
Yeah, that happened like once.
Yeah. I just thought there was cool details. I assume I wrote down what you guys also wrote down for the beginning of chapter 6, but
I like how Tobias. I like how they say they tell you how to pronounce the groat.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did not think it was pronounced de Groot.
Thank you,
Did
Capital.
I kinda like
Animorphs
how-
pronounce it right?
Animorphs didn't come out with this book yet.
Oh, okay.
I kind of like how there's like dialogue, and it just says like it spells it the same way no matter who's saying it. But then he says, I think Mr. DeGroat want to talk to me, and she says it's pronounced DeGroat. It rhymes with boat, but like there's no way that you like
But
pronounce
he
them
didn't like
differently
say that
if you're
he
reading it.
pronounced it de Groot.
Yeah,
Because I assume every single kid reading this would go like, oh yeah, de Groot.
yeah.
Yeah.
And any
So it
human
works.
being-
So it works
Okay,
because of that.
Yeah, why does it?
I just like that.
Is this like a last name that people actually have?
I assume.
Like, why is it? Why?
I don't know why.
Why can't it just be de Groot?
Because it's
Do
funny.
you think actual like de Groots in real life would be offended by
Listen,
that?
sometimes books just have things in there for no reason.
And
That's
there
what
is
makes
the
it
fun
nice.
shell.
Right.
Like, why does
Oh,
Tobias
DeGroat.
have brown hair, huh? He doesn't need to have brown hair.
It's because when he's never mind. It's dirty blonde.
It's just
I'm just gonna say that. I'm
blonde.
gonna say that instead.
Oh,
It's because
Okay,
he has
I
his
get
head
it.
dipped in toilet.
What do you mean you get
I'm
it?
just
I
saying.
get what you're saying.
What?
I said
And
because
why,
he has his
why
head
is
in
it dirty
toilet.
blonde? This is offensive to people with dirty blonde hair.
No, I said brown. I was saying brown.
Is
This
it
is
because he has his
offensive
head
to
in
people with
toilet?
brown
Yes,
hair.
that's the joke I was gonna make. And I refused to. And I just corrected myself instead because it's not brown. It's not the color.
But also
Thank
saying
you,
dirty
Buster.
blonde is also
Speaking of that, Access Human Wolf was smeared with something I could only hope was chocolate. I wrote that down and it just had a smiley face emoticon. That was my note.
So this book establishes that Tobias is fine with saying the word pee but not poop.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't say poop.
It wouldn't
That's
say
fine.
When
pee.
does it say pee?
When?
Interesting.
I am as peeless as you, Tobias, my friend.
He is mature
That's
and
X.
classy.
Well,
When
yeah,
does
but
he-
Tobias said, are you, did that scare the pee out of you, Axeman? Or
In this book.
That's not Tobias, that's Axe.
Tobias said that in
Tobias
a
said
different
that.
book.
Wait, so doesn't
Actually, thanks for reminding me about that, Dinesh, because I forgot.
You're right.
didn't you
That's
like
a
check
interesting
which
Tobias
Animorphs
story.
say poop?
Yes,
and
I
check
did for
everyone
the
but
first
Tobias?
for the first 14 books.
Check everyone but Tobias.
Tobias refused to say poop specifically. He said, "Oh, there was
Is that in the
So
canon?
classy.
there was a Babe Ruth ball in the pool that looked. I'm not gonna say what I forget how he worded it. He didn't say
Didn't
poop
Tobias
though.
poop on something? No, he threatened to poop on something.
Yeah, but he said it in a classy
But he
way.
didn't.
He was like, "Marco, you better move over because I'm a hawk." No. He was like, Marco was being annoying. He was like, "Hey, Marco, come stand under my branch."
Yeah,
that's what he
that's
said.
what it was.
Come stand under
What
my
a great
branch.
joke.
Anyway,
There's
smiley
a...
face.
So Tobias doesn't... Is that in the canon channel? That Tobias refuses to say poop?
No, we didn't write it down as part of canon.
You print such stupid stuff in the canon channel, put it in there.
Wait, what? I put great stuff in the canon
Just
channel.
talking of mustard, but you probably put stuff that I think is stupid in there too.
Okay,
Like,
question.
Forfeiture can follow scent trails. That's important.
No. That's not what I would have.
Which stupid
Called stupid.
things?
Canon.
Give me an
Tobias
example.
Let me open up the
refuses
channel.
to say poop.
You can join our Discord server if you want to say our canon channel.
Yeah, you can join like us and like one other person.
Link in the description.
It's a fun.
I still have the
nice-
canon channel muted.
I have the stream chamber muted
Maybe
only
it's for
because
the
it's
best.
usually spoilers.
Yeah.
And I'm usually the last one to read the book.
I had no screams, but I had a scream while I was reviewing my notes. That's something I was mad about.
Which was, I spelled something wrong.
No.
Did you
No.
really? Oh,
No.
Don't newspapers usually have a future date on them?
What?
Like, I know magazines do that. They'll like have the month of what the next month is.
No,
newspapers
the
are the
newspaper's
daily.
daily.
They don't have the next day on
This
it?
is
No!
the Guinness World Record book.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up.
Okay, next complaint.
In chapter 6, Cavalcade again forgets that Tobias should have thought speak while in his human morph
What?
because he
Oh,
says
oh.
he has to signal that he has to signal to his friends. The friends are waiting in the convenience store next door, and he has to signal to his friends
Your
whether or not
friends
he's
are
in
waiting
danger.
in the convenience store for you.
I think that's been brought up before.
That's like but he's like technically still not a morph because it's technically
Yeah,
his body.
I think-
it's just it's elemist nonsense.
Anything-
This is just, yeah.
No, anything relating to Tobias being a morph, I think it's excused because he
Well,
is an
Cavalcade
exception.
can just make anything up for Tobias.
Well, no, there are rules to it.
Yeah, like the rules
and
are
if that's
confusing.
proven wrong later, then it's annoying. But because he's not a morph, there's like weird exclusions.
3 minutes is a very long time when you can't even fly. That's what Tobias says about time. And...
See, that was not one of my interesting Hawk insights that I wrote down and highlighted in orange to indicate that's an interesting Hawk insight.
You had it in orange?
Yeah, because it's the color of Hawks.
Good old beak lips.
Someone wanted me, family. Wait, someone wanted me. What? Oh, someone wanted me. Family wanted to take care of me. Unless, of course, what they really wanted was to learn my secrets and then kill me. Yeah. And I wrote that down, but I did not think. I legitimately thought Aria was going to be his
I
cousin,
would have been happy if
like
she
the whole
was.
book.
Yeah, like why can't she be, huh?
Why can't she be?
Man, we'll get to
Because it has
that.
to be Visser Three and Morph every time.
I thought it was cool when it was Visser Three and Morph.
Okay,
Why, Mustard? Why?
We'll get to it.
Visser 3 didn't even need to pretend
And the
to be
way
a
that
woman.
Tobias found out too, so Visser 3 just morphed into. No, he was already in Morph as Arya, then he
I
just
know.
went into
Like, okay,
the helicopter because the helicopter was too small for an Andalite.
Because they
Andalites
want-
aren't that much bigger than people.
No one.
They have a whole
chapter
back half. They're like a person with like a big
It's
butt
just- it's
glued
just like-
onto
Here's
them.
my question: why couldn't she? I guess it takes like 5 minutes to morph, and if there's an emergency, he had to
So
go.
they're gonna save the world and find out that the world is Visit 3 and Morph. That's this
Yeah.
whole book
It's
series.
like the freaking
So
So
after he leaves the lawyer place, I'm on chapter 7 now.
Yeah.
Lawyer?
Because there's a whole thing where like someone's chasing him, and they're like, "Oh, get away!" and he runs away from them, and but that wasn't.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. It actually doesn't matter at all.
So my next note was on.
Man, they have good plans in this book. Like they have a bunch of backup and like secret signals for what's going
Yeah.
on. They don't just break stuff
It's
and
so
have
refreshing.
everyone
From
turn into ants for no reason.
You know who else had good plans?
Visser
Visser
Three?
Three.
What are you
That's
talking
why
about?
he's cool.
Yeah. Okay. He's always
How
in
are
more
Visser
for
Three's
Visser-
plans good in this book?
Because he morphed into Arya the whole book and tricked them. He doesn't do that. Visser 3 shows... You know why it's bad that Visser 3 shows up? Because he shows up, gets farted on, and then they run away. That didn't happen in this book.
Yeah,
I don't care if Visser 3 shows up every book if it's cool and if he's actually a good
I
villain.
don't see why the Yerks couldn't just kidnap Tobias.
Because they're dumb.
They're dumb.
Anyway...
They would have no trouble just killing him either. Like if he would be
Just
a waste
shoot
of
him.
if he would be a waste of a Yerk, if he's supposedly a street rat who nobody cares about, they could kill him.
Just shoot him.
They have no
Listen,
problem
listen,
killing people.
They don't kill for no reason. They kill for vendetta, and they have nothing against Tobias.
Visser 3. This is
Street
Visser
Rat.
3 we're talking about.
Visser-
They don't kill for no reason.
Visser's not trying to
Visser
eat
3
people.
kills controller.
They
Visser
think
3
he might be a freaking morpher.
No, he's not. He's a street rat. Street rats tend to be morphers.
Just kill
They
him.
think he might be.
No, he's a straight rat. No way.
No,
Impossible.
the
He's a
reason
straight
they
rat.
weren't talking to him is they wanted to
He's
get...
not a gay rat.
No, they don't think he's a morpher. That comes up later in the book. They don't think he's a morpher.
Why do they care about him at all then?
Because this was said in the book. They're like,
because of Elfangor.
yeah, he might know some. He might somehow know something about the Andalite bandits because he's Elfangor's son. But it turns out he knew nothing about Elfangor. So they wanted to like talk to him. They didn't
That's
want
what
to
I
just,
meant. Whatever. Kill him anyway.
No,
Yeah.
they want information about the bandits. They don't. You don't.
Well, they didn't.
do
If
this.
they're not going to
Oh,
get the
thanks.
information anyway, they're just going to let him go. Then just at least kill. Okay, what I think they should do is they should abduct him,
Alright, yeah,
and
you-
they should
you made a
see if
good
he has
point
any
there, Mustard.
information in him.
You guys want all this horrible stuff to
and
happen to Tobias
if
for
he
some
doesn't-
I don't
reason.
want it. We just think it would make more sense.
If he doesn't have information in him, and he's a waste of a Yerk supposedly, then kill him because he doesn't have anyone who cares about him anyway, and it would be easy enough for them to just say, "Oh yeah, he's been missing for a while, you guys." So
Well, he has
just
school
died.
records though, so he might come back. And if he shows up dead, that's gonna be suspicious.
What?
They
do you
do
mean he
not
might
care
come
about
back?
this.
It's gonna be
Suspicious.
sussy.
He's been
It's gonna
missing
be
already.
suspicious.
Don't you know that like missing people are likely to be dead?
No, they know he's alive though because he showed up in the lawyer's office.
Oh,
The
yeah.
lawyer's office is controlled by Yerks. They'll be fine. They can do
Listen,
it.
Tobias gets around. People know him.
Tobias gets
I don't think they
around.
do.
People would be like, "Oh, where's the red-tailed hawk?"
My next note was the beginning of chapter 7. I wrote down, this page is instructions for writing your own Animorphs meeting chapter. Because he's like, so he goes around, after talking to the lawyer, he's like, they were going to talk to each other, but he's like, I do not want to deal with these people. I don't want to have to sit down, have to explain everything to them. I didn't want to have to deal with Cassie's hopefulness, Rachel's concern, Marco's evasive skepticism, because Cassie would make me go over everything word by word, and because she has an amazing talent for understanding people, and she would go like, oh, I want to know everything about the growth. And Marco, he would barely listen, but then zero in on all the problems and inconsistencies. And Rachel would pace angrily, looking for a way to make me safe, and looking for some action. And Jake would just sit there calmly and judge, and make his decision later.
So we better not have any bad or stupid mating scenes when the ghostwriters come in, because it's literally a diagram.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, is she, because this is like right before the Ghostwritten chapters. We only have a few more, books.
We
only
have
a
one
few
more
until-
book before the first Ghostwritten book.
So I was like, is this just Cavalcade making it clear that Ghostwriters know to write a meeting Animorphs? I thought that was funny. But also that was interesting insight that Tobias thinks these things.
Yeah, Tobias
He's
is
like-
annoyed his way.
He's like,
out
yeah, I
of
don't
it.
want to deal with these people.
The obligatory meeting chapter.
And he's like, oh no, this is my choice to make. I'm not going to talk to them.
Tobias is cool, so he recognizes that the meeting chapters are
Tobias
cool
is
anyway.
cool. I kind of like how when after they go to the lawyer, Tobias walks out of the place and some guy's following him, so he like cuts through Applebee's and he's trying to walk to the kitchen like as if he
the
belongs
bathroom's
there.
over there.
And he just trying to keep walking and ignores people. Like that was cool, you know.
I just
Was
picture
it?
like a cool soundtrack going over that.
And then by the time
It was
the
like
second guy
it was like clear foreshadowing that something was up. Like, why is someone following him?
by the time the second guy came into the Applebee's kitchen, they're like, "Hold on, no one in here. Some street rat already rushed by. We're not gonna let you go through here too."
That's why they lost him. That's why he lost him.
Only one person allowed to sneak in.
For chapter, my only note for chapter 7 was, holy crap, there are at least 24 free Hork-Bajir now?
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's
I
a
did
lot
write
of
that down.
Hork-Bajir. That's like pretty
I'm
cool.
glad that this book finally explained how the Hork-Bajir are getting free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Going on restaurant.
Well, I assume they had just been reading and stuff.
Also, I like the dynamics of the Hork-Bajir.
So like
hey,
Jara and Kat have just been
No,
getting it
last
on.
time in the last book, Tobias, there were way more adults than there should have been. Tobias said something
Yeah.
about that.
Oh.
I like the dynamics of how the Hork-Bajir like, yeah, we don't want to tell the Animorphs about this stuff because then you're gonna
Yeah.
kill everyone.
Yeah, the whole
That was
Hork-Bajir thing was
interesting.
because now there's a
This is
seer.
why I like the Hork-Bajir. They're interesting.
I love the Hork-Bajir.
Toby's a seer, so she's really
I
smart.
like Toby. I don't know if I told you this, but like at the end of the last book, I got all excited because they introduced Toby. Even though I didn't like the book, I just got excited from them introducing Toby because I
Yeah.
remember her being cool.
She's cool in this book. Is this related to the fact that you named your one of your things Toby, or
My
is it just
Pokemons. Well, yeah, I named it. I named it Toby as opposed to Tobias.
As
Because
opposed
like
to-
is
name
it like do you think this book influenced that?
not this book, but just like
Okay.
the character being existing. So I knew
That's
the
what I
name
meant.
Toby was
the
there.
character existing.
I knew that there was already a character in canon who was named after Tobias, whose name was Toby. So
So
I
it was
could,
a girl, yeah.
yeah, who I could name. So yeah.
So that makes more sense to me now, because otherwise Toby is not a girl name. It could be a girl.
Isn't
It could
it?
be a girl Hork-Bajir name, but
It could be. It's distinctly a girl Hork-Bajir name, but not a girl name.
I believe Toby is a girl name.
Yeah, me too. I
Well,
mean,
more
but
than it sounds.
I've
It sounds.
never heard of a human girl being named Toby.
You know what? I've never heard of a human girl being named Jordan.
I have.
Yeah. Some people are named different things and have different.
Have you heard of a human girl named Toby?
Nope. I wouldn't be
So
surprised
I'm
if it
right or
happened
wrong?
though.
Shut up.
No, but I'm
If
saying
it happened, then I'd change my mind.
we don't meet that many people in our lives, so I think it's very reasonable. You just haven't
Cassie has
met
turned
any
into
yet.
more humans than we've met in our entire
Exactly.
life.
Yeah. Which is zero. We have no friends. The Yerks have taken over.
But whatever. I'm more open to.
I've only seen
that
6 or
now.
7 humans in my life.
I was trying to type in Toby, I typed in Bogey instead. B-O-G-Y.
Behind the name says Toby is
That's
masculine and feminine. Medieval form of Tobias. It is sometimes used as a feminine name in the 1930s and 40s due to the influence of American actress Toby Wing, who I've never heard of, but
Oh
okay.
wow. Okay.
Toby Wing, like bird.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Reference. Elvis.
Elvis.
Anyway, Hork-Bajir chapter. This was an interesting chapter when he talks to the Hork-Bajir. Toby, not Tobias, the Hork-Bajir named Toby. We don't call it Tobias Toby. Toby reveals that they've been going to this secret Yerk base and taking more Hork-Bajir with them to save them because they want to be strong. And then Tobias is like, "Oh, where is it?" And Toby, they don't really trust the humans because the
Animorphs.
Andalites failed them already.
Oh,
yeah,
I see.
I love that. Very cool.
And then Tobias is like, "Yeah, humans don't exactly have an unblemished record of tolerance for different races. After all, this valley probably belonged to Native Americans before Hork-Bajir."
Oof.
And yeah, she just
I mean, this valley specifically, because don't humans not care about this at all? Like, haven't they not developed in this?
Hidden Valley.
By humans, I mean white people.
I think they.
Well, they would have kicked the Native Americans out anyway.
I think
They
they.
kicked the Native Americans out and then just didn't do anything with the land.
Well,
I
yeah,
think they
that's,
would have
that's
anyway.
what national parks are.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. Oh, and this is a national park, isn't it?
It's a state park or something like that. It's just, I
Right,
think they said
okay.
it was a national forest.
All right. I agree then. Good job.
Do you think Beck was named after that guy who made Old Lay?
No.
I was thinking that.
No, I
I mean,
don't.
not seriously, but I kept thinking about that band. Why not?
I should listen to the album.
Yeah.
Oh, so there's a baby Hork-Bajir named Beck who's kidnapped and
He just
not
left.
kidnapped. He just left. They don't know if
He
he's kidnapped.
wandered away, and he's lost.
And Toby is worried that if she tells the Animorphs where the secret Yerk area is, that they'll go in and attack it.
Wait, so why do they care so much about one Hork-Bajir? Just because
Maybe.
they're nice?
Who, the
they're
Hork-Bajir or the
nice.
The
Animorphs?
Hork-Bajir are people.
Okay, here's something I was wondering, and I think Capricorn just didn't think of it. If any of these Hork-Bajir can become controllers again, won't the Yerks know the Animorph secrets because
Yes.
they talk to them and stuff?
Yeah, that's also why it's really bad.
And I think Capricorn didn't think of that
Oh, really?
because
I was thinking about that the entire time.
well, no, but
I guess I just kind of filled it in.
yeah, because Tobias he doesn't seem it's not brought up at all. Like, oh crap, if they'll know our secrets if they get caught. If any single one of these Hork-Bajir in the valley get caught, they'll know. Maybe they're just too dumb and Hork-Bajir don't look through the brains of maybe Yerks don't look through the brains of Hork-Bajir because of how dumb they are. Who knows?
That'd be really stupid.
Well, also don't Hork-Bajir have a weird way of doing memories from the Hork-Bajir Chronicles?
What are you talking about?
They memorize an entire story vividly with vivid details and stuff.
Within the
That's
brain.
been
exploratory.
passed down.
Yeah.
Their
Generations.
memories are different from human memories,
So maybe they're
that's
just so
something to do
stupid
with
that
it.
they can't memorize that the Animorphs are Animorphs. Who knows?
Well, no, their memories work differently.
I think Applegate just didn't think about it because I was
Yeah,
thinking about
Because
it.
here's something that comes up later. They go in and they get some Hork-Bajir and then they're like, okay, we're gonna take these and stick them here for 3 days. Like the Hork-Bajir that they were attacking them or whatever.
Mhm.
And it's like, why don't they do those with the human controllers? I don't
The
understand.
Animorphs don't care about humans as
They
much
really
as these
don't.
Hork-Bajir care about Hork-Bajir.
Yeah, I guess that kind of makes. Oh, as the Hork-Bajir care about Hork-Bajir, yeah.
But the Animorphs agreed to
It says a
help
lot
them.
about society.
Not a single time, except when Jake was a controller, did they find a human controller and let's kidnap him and trap him so he becomes free. Why have they never done that?
They've never ever freed.
They did it with these Hork-Bajir.
Because the Hork-Bajir can live out in the woods
there's
and not
fewer
bother
Hork-Bajir.
anybody. But what are they gonna do with a human controller who's been freed? Like, what are they gonna do with him? He's gonna have to be an Animorph.
He doesn't have to be.
The human will know about the Animorphs.
Okay, first of all, the Yeerks will notice that he's been starved out, and they'll be like, okay, what's going on with this? Let's just reinfest him and find out what happened. Oh, look. But with the Hork-Bajir, it's like they just disappear into the woods, specifically to a location where the Elemist makes it so you can't get there if you don't know exactly where you're going. So they can't even find them.
But the Hork-Bajir are going out and risking their lives getting more Hork-Bajir regardless of that.
But they're bringing them back to a location.
Yeah.
Where
it all seems very unsafe for the Animorphs to help with that. I don't know.
Well, that's probably why the Hork-Bajir don't want to tell the Animorphs about it.
My next one's on chapter 10.
Whoa,
me
whoa,
too.
whoa! What is this image? I didn't see this. This animated one.
That's freaky.
What are you looking at? Stop looking at Discord.
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Oh yeah, but how did you like the animated thing in the corner, Star?
Oh, okay. The book, little flip book animation thing, it's kind of weird because so it shows human Tobias standing behind a hawk, and then Tobias
He's behind the hawk in the flip book too.
Yeah, and then human Tobias slowly fades away as the hawk morphs into a rabbit.
Really?
So it goes from a hawk, Tobias hawk and Tobias human next to each other, side by
I
side.
didn't look at that.
And then Tobias just turns into a ghost, and then the hawk morphs into a rabbit. So is this going to be relevant to the plot of human Tobias fading away?
No, he did that. It was in the last book. Oh, I guess it was relevant.
No,
to
it wasn't.
Another complaint: this book basically didn't really do anything that the last book didn't already do.
Yeah, that's why I liked this book and the last book more than everyone else.
What do you mean by last book?
Last Tobias book.
Oh, that's Tobias' book.
Yeah, sorry. Should have specified about that. This book didn't really. I mean, it kind of covered new ground because of the whole Arya thing, but it kind of didn't because it was basically just Tobias trying to figure out if he wants to be a human or a hawk. But just now the family thing is with it too. But it's just does this really add that much?
No, it didn't add much.
So it didn't really justify its own existence that well.
Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure she doesn't care if these books justify their existence.
I think it justified its existence by being another Tobias book. We don't get any of those. There doesn't have to be an earth-shattering thing,
Yeah, but you still said it was your favorite book, dude.
yeah, because it was a more enjoyable read outside of the emotional ending that book 13 had.
Okay.
I think book 13
Anyway.
had so much stuff I didn't care about, they're saving Hork-Bajir. I don't care about that. I mean, this one had that too, obviously, but it was. I didn't like the side plots in this book very much.
So is this just diet book 13?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, everything we're saying about this book is worse than book 13.
I haven't.
Mustard, it feels like lots of...
I haven't compared a single thing in this book to book 13 in a negative way.
That's not what I was saying at all. I'm just saying you're bringing up a lot of negative things about this book. And I was like, what? So this is making it seem worse than book 13 just by proxy.
I don't think the new favorite book is that strong of a thing. It's just Star stuff if it's great. If it's okay,
Listen,
this is considerably better.
Star
Listen.
is... Okay.
I enjoyed reading it thoroughly the entire time and had a great time.
I just find that so surprising.
Star's S rank.
Before we became Animorphs, the entire day consisted of figuring out...
So you could have more than one star at the same time, sir.
Yeah, I know.
According to you.
I think you should be able to.
You don't know because I'm saying it's your favorite. You can only have one favorite.
Listen,
No,
I think
false.
I think it makes the most sense for it to be a tier, although I do use it as my favorite book, because then it's just gonna seem like the ones at the beginning are better because
they are.
No, but say the first book is your favorite, then the second book becomes your new favorite, and then say there's one that's better than both of those but not as good as book 19. It's gonna seem like book 1 and 2 are up to par with book 19.
That's why I'm saying you can only have one favorite.
No, so I'm saying you shouldn't only have one. Wait, do you go back and remove stars?
No.
Okay. So that's why I'm saying there should be.
They're just
You're not supposed to read it like that. You're supposed to read it
That was my favorite book at the time.
Yeah.
If I have a later star, then it's not still my favorite book. The end.
Yeah. That's how you're supposed to read it. But
But I'm just saying there's going to
I
be
don't
so
really care
few
about it that
stars,
much.
even if they are up to par with the previous ones.
Here's how I read it. My favorite book If I think what my favorite book is, it's probably One That Went to the Stars. I don't care that much which is actually number one, but it's one of these star ones, definitely. That's how I write it.
Alright.
Anyway, my next
That's fine.
vote is about
That's
Marco.
fine. I think that's how I would do it too if it weren't so clear to me what my favorite book is. If 19 just wasn't so far and away above every other book to me.
My next note is about Marco. Before we became Animorphs, your entire day consisted of figuring out which girl to annoy next. Marco grinned. And now I always know which girl to annoy next. He put his arm around Rachel and laid his head on her shoulder. She laughed and shoved him away. And I was like, oh, that was cute, I guess.
And then Tobias gets upset.
Yeah, it was a dumb little routine, but I felt a flash of jealousy. The intimacy is the most humans can have that I can't shake hands or hug or lay my head on anyone's shoulder. And I was like, oh, that's sad. Although it did make me worry that Marco and Rachel are gonna be into each other.
Start doing gross stuff together.
But also, I wrote down here now, this is, so in the Scream Chamber channel we have, we wrote like, there's gay in this book, Cavalcades and Ally.
That's right here.
And I had two different theories about who
Theories? Oh, you mean about who?
Yeah, because I was trying to just figure out that maybe that's part of why I enjoyed the book, because I was trying to figure out whose book is gay.
Yeah.
So I wrote down here. Wait, is Marco and
You
Tobias
don't read
the
the
gay?
Scream Chamber. Oh wait, never mind. You guys both read it before I did.
I didn't.
All right, you did.
Oh, the book?
Well, I just
Maybe you didn't get to that part.
I just forgot. I think I forgot to mute it. I just showed up as a notification.
Okay. All right.
And I was like, wait, is Marco and Tobias the gay? Because he seems like jealous of Marco. So
Really, Mustard?
yes, because you said, oh, you were freaking out as if this was a massive like gay person in this book.
Oh, that's
Excited.
That's so
I can see
sad
I
for
could've been
you.
brought to that.
Because then like an
That
hour.
must have been so disappointing, dude.
Well, then an hour later you wrote like, oh, by the way, it wasn't a major thing. It was just like this one line. But I was theorizing like, what is the gay in this? When does Tobias come out as gay? Which character does he have a crush on?
I think Tobias is at the very least
Well,
bisexual.
and I was like, Marco is like, he's not into Rachel. Is he gonna actually secretly be gay? That would make sense with Marco, I think.
Yeah, Marco would be
If
gay.
they have it in this book, it might be a new contender for my game.
If Marco was gay.
Marco and Tobias get together.
So yeah, that was. I just wrote. I remember we read book 16 and talked about how we were worried that Marco and Rachel would be like a
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
but I don't think it's gonna
That's
happen.
not.
Especially since Tobias
That's not
and
in this book, at least.
yeah,
There's
they're really good friends.
So Nintendo is mentioned in this book. I don't know if they've ever mentioned Nintendo specifically.
They mentioned
before.
Sega before.
That's what I'm saying. Like Marco, like switched sides.
Well, he said
It's
Nintendo
becoming
game.
clear who will win the console war.
Nintendo was
Marco-
mentioned in book 20 and 15.
Marco said
Oh, okay.
Nintendo like a negative connotation. Like, oh man, we're in a Nintendo game now.
Nintendo games.
My life is like a video game. That song sucks.
We're always
what are you
walking
talking
down some
about?
dark hallway with our blasters drawn, and there's an endless array of enemy
Oh my God.
guys. We blow them up, but they keep coming. When do we get to hit the pause button? When do we get to switch over to a nice peaceful ribbon? When do we get to turn off the power and put down the joystick and just veg out with some HBO? Side note, does anyone know what ribbon is?
What is?
Ribbon?
No.
R-I-V-E-N?
Wait, what is the context of
That
that?
wasn't like a fun mystery for you to figure it out?
No, I don't care about that.
Hit the pot. Switch
He
over
only
to a
cares
nice
about
peaceful ribbon.
inconsistencies in the writing.
Okay. Well, you guys don't really care about stuff like that. I don't know why you don't hear.
There were several references in the book that I was like, wait, who is
there's
who
a
is
few other
Patton?
ones, too.
But I was just like, I don't
General
care.
Patton?
But you know what That's So Patton was in reference to?
Yeah, he's like a military.
I was like, it's not Mike Patton because he's like a singer, and it's not Edward Pattinson or whatever that guy's name is in Twilight because that's Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, so those are the only two Pattons I know,
Okay.
and I didn't feel like googling it though, so I was more interested in other stuff.
Apparently a Horcrux could pass for a human, just with some, birth defects.
I doubt it.
That was dumb.
I was, not
Yeah.
convinced.
That was really weird that this is what I don't know what chapter this is, but so the zoo place.
Yeah, weird place.
So he's like, oh yeah, look at the this is offensive. The midget freak is what he called it, and he's like,
Well, I mean, yeah, it's supposed to be offensive.
so and I was like, he's treating this person like is the belief that it's actually a person? Because then this is just slavery. Like, like it can't talk.
Yeah.
It's clearly there against its own will. So that was odd. And I was,
It wasn't clear whether he thought it was a human or just a weird animal.
yeah.
Wait,
and I was
what?
like, maybe he just meant like freak of nature and
nature.
just
What page is
Yeah.
that on?
I don't know what page it's
This
on.
What
is like
chapter?
chapter 11, isn't it?
He thought it was an animal because it's a zoo. That wasn't unclear to me at all.
We called it the new deadly midget freak, the living razor.
Yeah, you know, that's an animal. You're right.
I guess just don't use the word midget.
Yeah, it's a living razor.
But you don't really use the word midget in that context.
Yeah. So that was weird. But then later he called it an alien, so I was like, that's a much better idea.
I like that Tobias says that Rachel morphing eagle is like watching her soul emerge through her flesh.
That was my next note, was about Tobias in very great detail describing Rachel morphing since he loves her and all.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I don't think we've ever I don't think we often have descriptions of like other people morphing, not in this much detail at least. Yeah, what did the
Yeah,
quote
I
you
like
said?
descriptions of other people morphing. Like when Cassie is a natural morpher, and she
Morpho
looks like an angel with the wings.
and Morphamillion.
And then my next quote,
Yes.
or my next note, was she more beautiful to me because she was a bird now? No, of course not. For one thing, eagles and hawks don't mate. For another, her eagle morph is male, but sometimes it seemed to me that this body suited her better than her own. Her body misled people with superficial
Rachel.
resemblances to the glossy images of magazine models. This body was Rachel. Fast, strong, smart, intense, dangerous. And my next note was, I think this might be the gay.
Oh my god.
Because he was like, this is Rachel's true body, this male eagle. This is the definitive Rachel.
I wouldn't freak out that much over something that.
Yeah, well,
stupid as this.
Well, no, I wrote it down because I was like, is this? I thought it was going to come back later. I thought it was going to go into more
they're
detail
actually
about
gonna mate
it.
his birds.
Yeah, no,
Gay
well,
bird
I didn't think
sex?
that, but I thought that was gonna, like, you know, like Tobias was thinking about, like, oh, am I eagle? Am I a hawk? Am I a bird? Maybe they're gonna be, okay, I am a bird. Okay, Rachel, you can be a bird too. You know, I don't know. That was just my note. I think this might be the gay.
List of birds who have been recorded performing homosexual behavior has 0 hawks on it. In Wikipedia.
How about eagles?
Well, there you go.
Tobias, we need to add Tobias to that.
To Wikipedia.
Tobias Animorph.
But my next note was like, this chapter is kind of annoying for chapter 11 because it was just like Rachel talking to Tobias and Tobias being too embarrassed about being a hawk to talk to her. And then she was like, oh, something you don't want to talk about, that's cool. And I was like, was that
For that
sarcasm?
note,
I couldn't tell.
For the eagle morph's male note, to be fair, I did have gay with 2 question marks.
Yeah.
Didn't Tobias
Well, it's
just
not even just that he said Mel, it's that he said like, this is Rachel's true body. Like he went into such detail about this eagle.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was interesting.
Didn't Tobias just embarrassed when he eats road curls in front of Rachel?
I want fan art of Tobias eating.
And it probably smells really bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He said it was fresh.
Can I have fan art of Tobias looking embarrassed?
I just think it would be really funny.
I want to smell it.
Wait, is this a reference to something?
Yeah, that Yoshi thing.
I'm trying to.
I've sent that Yoshi picture like 40 times
Can you send it to me? Can you like say it or something? Because I'm trying to remember
It's like
I can't remember it.
it's just like, hey, does someone do you guys think Yoshi gets embarrassed when he poos eggs in front of Mario? I want fan art. It'd be really funny. I think. Do you think his eggs like smell weird? And do you think he like? I want to smell them. Anyway. So they morph his birds to follow his cousin or whatever, and then they hop on a police car to follow her because they're like, oh,
that was cool.
Usually it'd be bad to hop on a car because an eagle and a hawk would draw so much attention.
Wait, hold on. Okay, the way that they got to another convenience.
Yeah.
Or maybe
I was about to say one, but go ahead.
The way they found her is that Tobias morphed human called the hotel and asked what room she's staying in.
I did not remember that. I think you can probably do
What?
that.
Wait,
because he found some quarters on the ground.
What is that a thing? Is that a thing you did?
That's probably a thing
Yes,
you
that
could do
was
in the
a thing he did.
90s.
I don't remember that at all. You
But
can't just do
Actually,
that.
now that you say that, it does.
If you
sound
know
really sus.
someone's name, they're gonna assume you're related to them, and if you know that they're staying at a specific hotel.
He could.
Or you could be stalking them.
Yeah.
Like I don't think hotels
You
will
know,
do
is
that.
that? I mean, in the '90s, were people that aware of that?
Yeah, I
I
think
mean, the
I
internet
think it
was
would have
just barely a
been
thing.
different in the 90s.
Yeah.
Is my guess.
Okay.
But speaking of weird consistency, they hop on a police car and they're like, usually this would be suspicious, but no one's going to point at eagles on a police car because they'll be worried about getting arrested by these evil police officers.
And no one will tell the police that the birds are up there because then they're just gonna pull them
There
over.
are no Republicans
They're so
in this
nervous.
world.
Listen, if I saw an eagle on a police car, I would be, oh, look at the eagle! Look, eagles are cool, dude. I always
would
get so
point it out
excited
to
when I
my
see an
friends
eagle.
and family, and probably everyone else in their other cars would too, and the police would probably notice that. But
Yeah.
go off, I guess.
No, the police would just think that like it flies down or something.
In his car.
On the roof of the car.
And then Tobias hops on a helicopter, but then the car they were following parks, so he has to get off it, and he's embarrassed.
It was nice of Cavalry to put that in there just for some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It was a
not very
fun
noteworthy.
scene
Okay.
riding on a police car, and then the lights turn on, and you got a Bobby on my six.
I have the image of
It
a.
was just stupid.
What? No.
It was pretty stupid.
No.
Thank you better.
No, you guys are
You
wrong.
agree with? I mean, I know that you thought you were stupid, but I assume you would be like, "Oh, but that's why it's good." That's
I have
why
notes.
like
I
it."
have notes highlighted in red of things that I think are stupid. Like no one's
Oh,
gonna
really?
look.
Nice.
No one's gonna want to look at carpet the wrong way. Like that's too. That's. I mean, I'll buy it.
No, that was
sure,
cool.
but it was convenient.
It was cool.
Imagine-
But it's not like it's not like it's a huge deal anyway. Like they're not like morphing
What's
or
a big
anything.
deal?
It's not like if they morphed on the police car, then it'd be like,
Then
okay,
it's
no.
stupid.
All of this felt like because Calpagate felt like she needed to explain why the bird because she felt like the birds wouldn't
She didn't
there'd
have
be
to
a
explain
mismatch between the
that.
way the birds flew and like how fast the cab that Arya was in was driving, and I was like, you could have just been like, oh, we
There's
just followed the
traffic.
car.
Or like there's traffic. So
Yeah, you
like,
could've
they can
just-
You could have just been like,
drive
oh,
pretty
there's
fast.
there's surprisingly no traffic today.
No,
Whatever.
there was surprisingly a
wanted
lot of
something
traffic.
The whole thing
cooler.
is, it just didn't. I guess she just wanted some more shenanigans. Sure, whatever. It's an Animorphs book.
Shenanigans. Oh, this is just cool stuff. This is badassery. This isn't
is drama.
shenanigans.
I imagine opening up this book to a random page and you open it up and you're like, okay, I've opened it up to the beginning of chapter 11. I guess I'll start reading chapter 11 just to see what this book is about. And it says, I felt uncomfortable being paired with Rachel. She'd seen me eating roadkill. And having no idea what these books are about.
Yeah, but what stupid idiot would do that? Is that how you first experienced Animorphs be natural?
No, I think I would do that.
One time I just opened up a random page of Twilight and just read like one page of it.
That's what you do when you like are looking for a book to read and the back cover doesn't do a good job of selling it.
I would just start reading the first page.
Yeah, but the books always start out boring. I want to know like how it is in the middle.
Grapes
That's
of
what
Wrath
that's-
is pretty consistent.
Your opening was pretty consistent.
Thanks. I try.
It's no big thing. I said with a dismissive laugh. A little bird on bird problem.
Ooh, hot.
That just seems.
Is that the J stuff?
Sex?
No, that was the end of my gay notes, by the way. It's just those two.
Okay.
Everyone
I have a
everyone-
note that says, "Dear Tobias, you are cute. Shut up."
Aww.
Because it's like Rachel of all people is really gonna appreciate some pathetic story of how you can't stand up to a bird.
Yeah, I was.
And I'm like, yeah, just
Yeah.
to bare your soul. Come on, Tobias.
Yeah, Rachel's not gonna be in pity for you. She loves you and wants you to be good.
She wants you to be good.
Rachel says, "I've got to learn how to morph a credit card." That's all.
Did she say that?
Yes, she
Like
does.
morph into a credit card so somebody else can swipe her?
No, because she wants.
No,
I guess
she wants
she
to
wants
morph,
money.
like, with her clothes.
Literally morph clothes and morph with the
Oh,
credit
okay.
card.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yes.
you're right. Okay,
That's fun.
I think I knew that at the time, but I forgot that.
We're turning into a credit card.
And I was like, wait, she wants to turn into a credit card? Okay. Thank you for reminding me that, because I just totally forgot that's what it actually was.
In
I
all,
have ne-
in all likelihood, if she turned into a credit card, it would get denied.
I am never a peeping Tom, I said softly. I cannot use my superpowers for evil.
She's morphing from a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt into a dress.
Dude, what if your friend could turn into like $1 million, right? Like $1 million in cash, and your friend was like, okay, if I turn into $1 million right now, you're gonna get $1 million. Wait, let's make it more. $1 billion.
Where's this
If
going?
If I turn into $1 billion right now, you're gonna get $1 billion. But then you're gonna spend me, and then what am I
I'm
gonna
gonna
do?
get divided up.
I'm just gonna get divided up, and I'll never be able to turn back. 'cause
Okay,
I'm
there's
$1
gonna be
billion.
a million evil clones of your friends going around when they morph
$1
back.
billion.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess
$1 billion.
depends on what the dollar.
You get it in ones.
Yeah, really.
Just a thought experiment.
Okay.
Just a
Thanks for
thought experiment.
sharing.
We do thought experiments on this
Yeah, it's
podcast.
welcome to the Thought Experiment podcast. This is the podcast where we do thought experiments. This guy is really
Do you think Hork-Bajir give live birth?
why are you
Yeah.
asking that?
They have those.
I guess
They have all those
reptiles.
sharp parts.
They're lizards, aren't they? I mean, like lizardy.
I
have-
wouldn't assume the crotch area is sharp.
Okay.
Like, sharp to the point where it would hurt the baby.
No, I'm not thinking about the baby.
What do you hear
What are you
about
thinking
that?
about?
Who else is involved here?
The midwives?
What the fuck? What are you guys on right now?
What,
Who's
sex?
giving birth?
The
Who's
women.
giving birth? Yeah, you giving birth to
What
a
would
thing
be sharp?
to a thing covered in
Oh.
spikes. You guys, really, none of you?
No, I didn't think of that.
None of you thought about like a woman
No,
giving
the
birth?
baby spikes are like cartilage or something, right? They're not as sharp.
I don't know about that.
They're not as sharp as babies.
You know how
Isn't this
babies
literally
don't
explained?
have toenails?
But the baby toenails don't hurt the mother. It's not a thing. Literally not a thing.
Well, but you heal fast, so it'll be okay.
Oh,
Do
gosh.
they?
They do. It's
Okay.
true.
Is it like Capricorn forgot about that detail in this book though? Because
Okay, Hork-Bajir lay eggs. The end.
there was like a Hork-Bajir with a scar, which I guess they just healed slowly, but also like Tobias is more Hork-Bajir, and it didn't like once mention that like he could heal
Yeah,
fast. It was
you're
acting
right.
as if he can't. But my thought then was when he was fighting Visser Three specifically
I
picked
was
him off.
thinking about that and how he didn't heal himself.
Yeah.
But I assume he just didn't have enough time.
Well, but
Wasn't
my
focusing enough or whatever.
thought was that Visser 3 specifically, because he knows Hork-Bajir, he's been using them in battle for
Yeah.
years. He picked them off that he knows could attack Hork-Bajir. So like the acid, you can't heal from that because it like burns you.
Yeah.
Also, Becca's 3 feet tall, but which is a newborn by Hork-Bajir standards.
They have
I was,
big coochies.
I was wondering if that has any insight on whether it's eggs or live birth. Or live birth usually larger than egg things.
I don't know.
No.
Okay.
Humans,
Okay, hold
humans
on. What are you
give...
trying to say? Because if a human laid an egg, I guess
Would
it
it
would
be-
be smaller than a
Baby?
live baby.
No, it would be the same size.
No, it'd be
No,
bigger because they have to like hot.
I mean, the baby itself.
Okay, the baby.
Babies come out like a water slide. They're like straight. Like they're not like huddled in a ball. The ball would be bigger if they're like in a ball.
I think eggs, I think like fish eggs.
So the
they're
ball
really
would be
small.
wider. No, it wouldn't.
The ball, if they're
Slightly because it would go around the head instead of just being the head.
No.
Right?
The quote was Tobias said, "Oh, Becca's 3 feet tall, practically newborn by Hork-Bajir standards."
I don't think Tobias actually knows the answer. Like
Okay,
what newborn?
Tobias is talking in terms of age, not size.
What? Oh, what? Are you sure? Hang on.
That's how I interpret
3
it.
feet is practically
So
newborn.
because Hork-Bajir age so fast, when they're newborn, they're born the size of a baby. But then like within a few weeks or maybe a few months, he's 3 feet tall. Or maybe like a year or two.
He was only 3 feet
I don't
tall,
know.
practically a newborn by Hork-Bajir
I like-
standards.
I
Yeah,
like-
that could go either way.
I'd rather leave this discussion at they got the big coochie.
Okay, they got the big. I don't know. I'm not saying
No,
that. I'm not repeating
I'm
that
not saying
sentence.
that. Okay.
I'll stand by that.
Tobias realizes he just like hasn't been talking to the Animorphs as much. He's like, "Oh, I guess I've gotten to where I say less and less." And there's a scene where they do homework. I thought that was.
I thought that was so cozy. I wrote that down. I copied.
I love that.
I copied.
Yeah, I did.
I'm surprised it's never been mentioned before. Like, there's oh yeah, we just got together and started doing homework for a
Jake,
few hours.
Rachel, Cassie, and Marco all sat down in the hay of the barn, whipped open their backpacks, and pulled out books and notebooks. Homework. I guess when you're fully human and a kid, there's just no escaping homework. Axe looked over Cassie's shoulder at her science textbook. But that's not true, he kept muttering. That's not at all how gravity works. I sat comfortably in the rafters and eavesdropped on Jake's homework. I still enjoyed reading. What a cozy scene.
Why did they mention
I wanna-
Pan so much?
If I was okay with if I liked drawing humans and also settings, I would draw that. I love Axe too. Axe says, if you would really like to understand the laws of motion as they apply at the quantum level and how they would relate to both gravity and what we Andalites call the seventh force, then Cassie laughed and put a hand on Axe's arm. Axe, it must be hard not having anyone around to discuss things on your level. He looked disconcerted. No, it's not that, he said lamely.
Mm-hmm.
I love Axe.
Very human moment for X.
And then before they go out and fight, Cassie was like, "Oh yes, all the right lies have been told. Everyone else is at someone else's house as usual." Cassie said regretfully. And I was like, "That's a nice detail. I like when Cassie is sad about lying. I guess."
We got that in book 19. Moving
Yeah.
on.
Oh yeah, they're gonna go in, sneak into Fangs. Tobias is gonna morph a Hork-Bajir and steal the baby. And Tobias says, "We have a rule about morphing humans or other sentient species." And it's like, it's a rule now. Stupid. You'll kill them in war, but not morph them. And he's like, "Oh, this is a unique case because we knew that Ket wouldn't object. Do you think the human race would object to you morphing them to save the species? Or maybe even their family or themselves?" Like, stupid. Dumb rule. Cassie, bad
Just
rule.
the idea, like, okay, I can buy that, but by a human not sacrificing their own bodily autonomy or whatever, but like, assuming that a Hork-Bajir would and a human wouldn't is just Yeah.
But this isn't even like bodily autonomy. This is you're taking their DNA and morphing into
Well,
them. You're not taking their
still
body at all.
It's a
Like,
clone.
It's stupid.
It is
They're body
Extenuating
snatchers.
circumstances.
They're body snatchers.
but they're saving the world. And they're killing humans. Do you think they want to get killed?
It's just something that's not like get on my nerves as much.
They act as if there should be no exceptions to morphing humans.
It
and
really
annoys me.
it bothers me, and it bothered me a lot as when I read these originally as well. And then Tobias tells us that guys, don't worry, Rachel morphing into an elephant is not at all attractive.
That was my next note. I don't have anything to say about it though.
He said, "Don't worry."
Well, he was
he just like there's even though I was so stunned by Rachel's beautiful, I don't know how he words it, hawk morph,
Yeah, that doesn't
eagle
seem
morph.
noteworthy to me.
There was nothing attractive about her morph an elephant, and it says, what was it? Oh, it says she lumped and bumped and looped her way to her elephant form.
Yeah, she was grinning at me when her white teeth seemed to flow together and then sprout out and out like a spear coming toward me. So 10,000 white teeth all just flowing together.
That is terrifying.
How frightening.
People are gonna have no idea what we're referencing. And say,
Yeah, they will.
okay.
10,000 bright white teeth.
Rachel does have
Who's
10,000
gonna
white
listen to
teeth.
this stupid episode before?
No, they're just not gonna remember. They have other podcasts to listen to. They're not the ones saying it. You know, you forget.
Yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Whatever.
I don't know what book that was in, but it said Rachel had 10,000 bright white teeth. It was really funny. And we're not gonna stop referencing it. We're gonna always bring it up because it's really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Elvis. Oh, so they're in this zoo place. Rachel morphs elephant, and she thought speaks to everyone and says, "Get out! There's a psycho elephant on the loose."
And everyone was just too distracted by the pandemonium to realize that
Not
it
a
was in their
single
heads and not...
controller among them.
There was though. There were controllers that showed up. I think there were controllers there.
Oh, you're right. Well.
But I
okay.
mean, they knew that the Animorphs were there. It's not like they're gonna find out that
Because-
they're human from that.
Because Andalites would say it's Dumbozilla.
Maybe after being on Earth for a few years.
Okay. Yeah, we're giving a lot of people the benefit of the doubt in these.
That's-
Literally.
I'm confused why the controllers are there to steal the baby. Cause like why they? I guess maybe because they think that they'll get secrets from it. But no, it's a baby. It's not gonna know anything. But why are they so concerned with getting more hooked? Don't they have enough? I was like, I guess they want.
They want complete enslaverature.
I guess so. Oh yeah, because Visser Three was like, oh yes, you people were meant to be our slaves or something.
Yet another thing I didn't understand about this book. Why didn't they just put a yerk in its head? As soon as they got it, why didn't they put a yerk in its head? Like, they could have still kept it in a cage and had it pretend that it was free, but put a yerk in its head anyway, just so in case there's any information.
It's a baby. It's not gonna know anything.
In case. And also so that when the other ones come along, they can... So the other people... The other
So when
Hork-Bajir...
the other Hork-Bajir steal it back,
They'll
it's
take
gonna
it back to the
be a
valley.
spy.
Yeah, have it be a spy.
Oh, when it was. Oh, you mean when it was. Oh, I forgot they did actually capture it, didn't they?
Yeah.
And they. Huh. Anyway, Tobias goes head on head with Visser Three. I thought that was a fun scene.
Tobias gets in on the finger chopping off action.
Yeah, he's a Hork-Bajir.
I like the part in this chapter where this is one sentence. Suddenly, an elephant.
Yep.
That's the whole sentence.
That explains. That's Rachel's contribution. I didn't say a real word just there. What did I just say?
Tribulation.
Also, Visser Three knows Ket's name, which I thought was interesting. He was like, "Oh, Ket Hellpack, I assume you had one of those
And
three
yet-
No,
things."
the Yerk would know.
And yet, when the Animorphs go into the place later, not a single person recognizes them as the free Hork-Bajir.
Well, I think only Visser Three.
Only Visser
He
Three.
knows.
Visser Three
He
would
knows that he didn't bring any Hork-Bajir to that place, so none of his Hork-Bajir are going to be there. But that was in their base.
But he specifically knows which one it is.
Yeah, because he's like, "Oh, you're the one who." Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that he knew its name. I was like, can he tell the difference from Hork-Bajir? Or maybe he just is like, "Oh yeah, you're the one." who
Later,
wants the kid.
Tobias
It's your
turns
kid."
into Ket again, and he walks up to Hork-Bajir controllers, and he's like, "Hey, give me the key," and they do. And
Yeah, but not Visser Three.
Yeah,
Visser 3 is literally the only one who knows the faces of these supposedly highly wanted fugitives.
He's the leader. He has a spreadsheet of all the names.
That's pretty cheap. Okay.
I like how Visser 3 brags about his morphs and says their names. He's like, "Oh, this thing is this creature. I got it from here." Like, it's exposition, but it's fun. I think.
Yeah, Visser Three. He's like
Captain.
a hunter who has cool pictures and he shows them off.
Cinnamon Bunza has a theory that Visser 3 is like really into animals,
Probably.
That's cute.
and that explains like why when he was Arya, like he wasn't even doing an act. He was like, these animals need better cages.
Oh, I love that.
And didn't Visser Three like specifically like go to Saturn just to check out the animals there?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I
forgot there were
forgot the
animals on
stupid belief
Saturn.
was from Saturn. That was stupid. I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
What color is antifreeze to
I
you?
think it's
Blue.
Because to me it's blue.
Why? What color did Tobias?
Green.
Green.
Wait, what? Explain the
Greenish
context,
yellow.
please.
Tobias is like, oh yes, there was antifreeze color. I thought, why was the slime blue? He said, yes, a bright green. I said, what?
What? Yeah.
And
The
okay.
liquid the color of antifreeze squirted from a monster's pouting mouth.
So I was
This
wondering
is
why.
milliliter.
I was wondering why there's red blue liquid.
Well, I googled antifreeze and green liquid does come up.
Yeah.
I Google antifreeze and all I see is blue liquids.
Blue, pink, brown, green.
Oh wait,
pink.
this one's green. It can be different colors, I guess.
Yeah.
It is blue to me.
I just more know it is blue.
I was about to say maybe it was different in the 90s.
What? Maybe it is.
That's stupid.
Maybe antifreeze is green in the 90s.
But I guess it's green sometimes.
No, I assume there's different colors of it. Most of
Uh,
these bottles aren't clear.
1999 antifreeze. I'm looking it up.
Go to the web archive for antifreeze.
Oh, yeah,
The
go
first
to,
clear bottle is pink. Has pink.
well, there's one
antifreeze.
was being poured into a car and it's green.
Yes, I see that exact picture.
What is antifreeze made of? Does anyone know? I don't want anyone to look it up.
It's like the opposite of ice, I think.
Oh,
The
okay.
opposite of ice.
So like
It's really hot.
lava,
Okay.
but like gas. I guess like
No,
gaseous lava.
I think it's just some kind of liquid that just has a really, really high freezing point. Or low freezing point, sorry.
So Tobias fails this fight because he gets sprayed by acid and he's in pain. So he responds like someone.
Yeah, what
would.
this Google Images has convinced me of is that there is no clear color that everyone thinks of when they think of antifreeze. So it was really stupid for Capelgate to just assume that there was.
Well,
And that it was green.
well, we all had a color in our mind. So
And
that's-
we all have this.
I actually didn't until you asked me
Oh.
You
specifically.
didn't?
No, I was like, color's antifreeze. I
Well,
don't
so
know.
to Applegate.
That wasn't. How were you picturing it in their head during this part of the book?
I
then?
just wasn't. I was like, well,
Oh.
I guess I don't know what color this is.
Yeah,
It's
I
crazy.
don't pay attention to descriptions.
Well, I usually do, but I just didn't know what color
I think
it was.
Applegate just assume everyone thinks it's green,
Yeah.
and there wasn't Google, so
And Google disproved her.
Applegate law. We know what color antifreeze should use in the 90s.
Yeah.
Also, I was wondering, Tobias keeps going on about how like the hawk would never have let the pain get to it,
Yeah, I was just
And-
gonna talk about that.
and I'm like, okay, I would really like to see Kay Applegate like release like an annotated version of Animorphs where like she cites her sources with all this stuff, because like she must have like
Yeah.
done research on this stuff, and it was before the internet, so I would like to see like what did she read, and like I want to know like what she read that so that the shark's brain is too small for a Yeerk, like I would just like
yeah,
to see
the one
like
about comparing Yeerk brain sizes to human and sharks.
yeah.
That's my favorite scientific paper.
I would, yeah, I would like to see like where she got this
part
information.
I feel like the part where it's talking about emotions is mostly BS.
Well, I think it wasn't like they don't react to physical pain. I think it was just like I need to take the emotionlessness of the hawk and use that in battle. I'm getting too distracted by human
I
energies.
think she just kind of made that up to help fit the theme better.
Like, I
Yeah,
don't think it
which
was
is fine.
literally like
Which is
hawks don't
fine.
feel pain or don't react to pain,
Because
but
it's not like anybody's gonna disprove this. It's not gonna be stupid for anyone.
They do feel. I mean, I think hawks do feel pain.
they do
For sure, they do.
they feel
actually.
less emotions than humans though.
But do they still push through it?
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah.
And I actually looked up a scientific paper on this. I mean, not a, I don't know if it was. I don't remember if it was a scientific paper or
Yeah,
not.
you did. You sent it to the chat.
It was somewhat interesting. But
It was extremely boring for me.
oh.
I didn't read it.
It didn't have any conclusive evidence conclusive conclusions or anything,
Mhm.
but it had like yeah, birds do feel pain. Like they do like exhibit like reactions to pain. So I mean, this
Yeah.
is kind of just all made up like in terms of like
Well,
the-
I didn't.
the evidence
read it
that I could
as-
find.
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't read it as that like physical literal.
they
It's just
didn't
like
physically not feel pain. That'd be stupid.
Yeah.
But also so what happens is he gets sprayed by acid, jumps in a lake, and because of that, Visser Three steals a baby.
I liked when Tobias feels bad because of the losing Beck, because that's not really something that we've seen a lot in Animorphs so far, and it is a really like good emotion, I think, because I would just feel so awful if that exact thing happened to me.
Mhm.
And we don't really see the Animorphs fail in like ways that are devastating like that a lot, or at least definitely like let their other teammates down like this. I think what this book does good is that it approaches the human talk debate from like a from the position of pain and empathy and how it fits into being a human, which I don't think was if I can remember it wasn't really explored as much in previous Tobias books, so I think that's a cool wrinkle. Again, I did like this book. Like I did
You all give it a
think it had
thumbs
more
up.
good than bad. I'm sorry if I'm being excessively negative.
No, I
All the
understand.
good stuff was just like stuff that was in other Animorphs books and often was better in other Animorphs books, so it's not really worth discussing what was good about it
I
because
disagree.
I disagree too.
That like literally goes against what I was just saying.
oh, okay, I'm sorry. Well, that's how I felt.
Do you think the things you think are ever like overshadowed by things that happen later in the series? So you don't think they're as special because you've already read things that happen
Yeah,
later
for
that are
sure.
better?
But like I didn't remember that the like I had an example in my head, but it's gone now. But yeah, for sure.
So that means your opinion isn't valid.
Yeah.
Shut up.
My next theory was just like, I wonder if the Yeerks know that the Elements played a part in the whole Hork-Bajir thing. Because
The Yeerks know?
I wonder if the Yeerks know that the Elements
No,
played
they
a role
don't
in
know.
freeing them. And then I thought, do the Yeerks know about the Elements at all?
No, they don't.
Visser Three should.
Visser Three knows that it's like a little folk tale that the Andalites tell each other, but other than that, I don't see why he should know anything else about it.
He might, based on like the lawyer thing at this point. And like the how
Did Elfangor write about the Elmist?
no, he
Yeah,
didn't.
well,
He
he
didn't
said,
specify,
like-
but he said like the one who took me from my life on Earth has allowed me to do it. It was
Okay.
like
Yeah, I can see that as
mysterious.
evidence that Visser Three might be more open about the idea of an Elmist.
I like that Tobias has this part where he's sorry. Did you have something else to say about say? I kind of just went in too soon.
No, you're good.
Okay. I like how Tobias now
Wait, can you
feels.
wait till the car passes?
I like how Tobias now feels bad that him being a
The
hawk.
car definitely did not finish passing by the time you started saying that.
I like how Tobias now
Wait,
feels
so
bad.
you was mid talking. You start over.
I like how Tobias now feels bad that him being a hawk is now technically a choice instead of his destiny.
Yeah, that was in previous books.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I should just
Yep.
yeah. That was interesting. It wasn't particularly like impactful to me or anything, but it was just like a new
It
thing.
wasn't mind blowing, but it was cool.
Yeah. So they get out. Next is when Axe and Tobias spy on Arya.
We are the
Tobias-
weird couple of the
Yes.
galaxy, the alien and the bird boy.
I
It's
put a
like,
heart.
You are a pretty weird couple.
I put a heart.
Also, I wrote, yeah, because you're gay and dating.
And
all
also
caps.
related, also cousins or whatever.
Oh, I forgot about that.
niece, uncle,
Uncle and nephew.
I forgot.
and Tobias. I wonder if Tobias
Tobias
he
knows
might
that
know
now.
that now. Which
No,
This
he
is,
is so
does.
funny.
It's
Kevin
okay.
literally cock-blocked me.
you guys always forget that, man.
I do, yeah.
Cause I think it was like in episode 16 that I just edited. I was like, oh yeah, no, it was 14. No, what? I don't freaking remember what it was.
Whatever.
16,
At least we got.
whatever. And I was like, oh yeah, he's his
That's
uncle,
just
and everyone was like,
Tobias'
oh, he is his uncle. Whoa.
Yeah.
Although I guess they're not like blood related because his actual father was like the DNA of a bunch of
You never.
humans.
See, this is where it's okay.
If Tobias takes a paternity test, it's gonna be like you have like a bunch of human
Yeah.
fathers mixed together. What the?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, yeah.
My next note just says like I smiled at that when it's just them talking about peeing, because it's just
Oh,
like
this right
Wait, when
here.
did they talk about peeing?
Oh, because they're like, oh, Arya has to pee every 2 hours.
well they didn't say it like that because that would have been obvious, but they're like, oh, what's she doing behind that door? And Tobias is like, oh, it's a toilet, peeing and so on. And he's like, oh, there are no toilet facilities except in the hotel. And Tobias is like, well, sure, but I think women are more iffy on using public restrooms than guys are.
I don't think
'cause,
Tobias
Oh,
knows
man,
what you're
this
talking
conversation-
about.
the whole sitting down versus standing thing. And Axis is really confused.
Why did you? I just didn't like using public bathrooms.
Yeah, I don't like
Nothing
using.
to do-
I don't think using. Well, I prefer having my own bathroom too. I don't know if that's a.
Nothing to do with ending. It's just they're grosser.
Hey X-Man, what's up? Up is the opposite of down, although of course those terms are meaningless outside the context of a distinct localized gravity field. Okay.
Wait, one other thing about peeing. We don't know for certain if Andalites pee. I thought that was gonna get cleared up here, but it wasn't.
You were so disappointed. That's why you didn't write it on that chapter.
This is why this wasn't my favorite book.
Yeah. This is why. So then Arya saves a little girl who's about to get hit by a bus, and they're like,
And I was like, Arya is a chi because she gets hit by a bus or whatever. Call back.
Which
that
she's
didn't
not.
happen.
Did you?
Would have been cooler.
You know, Arya being Chi would have
Would've
made
been so cool.
given her behavior. Arya being Chi would have made sense.
It would have, yeah.
Because she's like,
oh, I gotta protect Tobias from the Yerks.
she's like vaguely protective of humans and acts kind of inhumanly and just trying to walks around doing things.
Yeah.
I've just realized, like, probably the child and the mom were all controllers.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
just
it was
didn't think
all
of that
set up.
before.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's very lucky that this happened. That
Very
Visser Three
lucky.
thought
Yeah.
of this at the exact moment, but it's like, no, this was all.
That's what I thought would happen at first until it was explained all at the end. But so then Tobias is like, oh, she must be human then. A controller wouldn't do it. Then Axe says, it is very clear that Arya is not acting as a controller would. And Tobias is like, that phrasing is kind of sus, but he agrees with me.
Why didn't X just argue with him?
That's not how Axe rolls.
Yeah, it is.
No, Act said what's true.
Axe said the true thing. He assumes humans understand what he means.
But I thought this implies that X disagrees.
No, I think he assumed he wasn't human, but he was just like, oh yeah, she's definitely not acting as a human would. But like, so knowing, I think.
But she is acting as a human would.
Well, I think, yeah, that's what I meant. I think Andalites realize that they're not 100. You can't be 100% certain of things all the time. So that's just why he phrased it like that.
Yeah, because Andalites.
But I think he believed it that she was human.
Well, I think this is really stupid. I don't see why a controller wouldn't save a human life.
Why? I mean.
Because they don't want to
I
risk a
question
human
that.
body that they've obtained and a yerk that they have just
Oh.
for a human.
Alright. Okay,
There's like a bunch
sure.
of humans. We don't need those.
And at this point, I was like, okay, so if she knows that she's being watched, as she could possibly, because there were like people spying
It just
on them
doesn't
earlier,
seem like the gotcha that Tobias.
then she would intentionally try to act as
thinks
human
it
as
is.
possible. But I still, like, I said through the whole book, I thought she actually was human until the
Well,
whole
yeah,
reveal.
she would still try to act as
Until
human
she
as
looked at her
possible.
hair.
No, that's not why.
Yeah.
But
No woman would look at her hair.
Well, no woman who has been in Africa.
because I was like, clearly it wants us to.
If you visited Africa, you stop looking at your hair.
Because how I was reading the book, I was
That
like,
was
clearly
so dumb.
clearly the
That
book
bothered
wants...
me when I was 13 too.
Oh, good.
That bothered me so much.
Yeah, that was one of my red highlighted notes.
Red is for poo-poo writing.
Yeah.
Yep.
You should use brown instead.
My green is theory because of MatPat. My yellow is plot because it's
Aw.
just
Oh my gosh,
the
nice.
first one I did. Red, hawks are orange, so it's orange is hawk things, and then red is bad.
You have one just for hawk things.
Well,
That's
it's
kinda cute.
I use it for hawk things and just like good writing mostly.
Right.
Like Rachel would look at me without having to hide the pity in her eyes. And I was like, well, I think the pity might just be something he's projecting onto her. Although she does really want him to become a human Northlit.
She does. I'm surprised by Rachel in this book, just how badly she wants Tobias to be human.
Because she likes him.
But like, would Rachel really be willing to admit that? And would she really throw the Animorphs under the bus by losing Tobias just for this?
Dude, she stuffs him in
I
his
didn't
pillow.
think it was bad. I didn't think it was bad writing. I just thought it was an interesting direction to bring Rachel in. I thought it was cool for that reason.
Rachel doesn't love most people, but she loves Tobias, so that's why I assume it is. I thought that was interesting. Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't think she pities him though.
Because of the rope kill thing, yeah.
Yeah, I think she just wants him to be human.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the book it seemed like it was trying to lead us to believe that Tobias assumes that that Arya is a controller or something, but I was like, I assume she's human. That makes sense. And
What direction do you think the series would have gone if Arya was actually a human?
I think people would just.
I think
decided to
Tobias
be
would have just chosen
Animorph,
not to
yeah.
live with her.
It wouldn't
She
make a
would have
difference.
Disappeared.
Yeah.
I really wanted her to be a chief.
I have no issues with how it went. Although I do have a set of alternate events that like Stuart's theory about the what book was that? 15. Where it was like, oh, this only works if this thing is not true.
Yeah,
If
right.
this,
Bubble
I have
clown.
something that's similar to
You
that.
do? Okay.
Not as ridiculous though.
Wait, are the Chi ever in a non-whoever book?
Yeah. What? None whoever. The Chi.
Yes, they are.
Oh
Shut up.
wait. Chi. They're only Marco books, weren't they?
No.
They were in Marco book 10. What else? What other book were they in?
15.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay.
That she's like, oh, by the way, Marco, here's no, he doesn't say Marco.
Yeah, she popped up like 2 other times, didn't they?
Probably.
Just to say something.
I know I just know the. Oh yeah, they're in the David book. That might have also been
They're in the
Marco
David book. Yep.
Go on with your Elvis theory.
No, because that'll be at the end of the episode.
Why don't we have an Elvis emoji?
We should.
Tobias is excited to have a human home,
It
but
would be
I was
called-
like,
It would be just for things that are stupid.
It would be called Book 8 reference.
Yeah.
that's a good
That's a
idea.
good idea.
So at this point, like Tobias, he thinks, oh, he's human, so he's like really excited to have a human home. But I would like, couldn't he just stay with his uncle if he wanted to? Like I
Yeah,
assume,
but his uncle doesn't love him. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Arya wants him.
yeah, because I was assuming the reason they didn't do this because he wanted an animorph. But then he phrased it like, oh, this is my last excuse for remaining a hawk, and I was like, okay, so
Tobias
it's an
hates
excuse for
his
himself.
life as a human. That's why he wanted to be a hawk as much as he could in the first place.
Yeah, that's why.
But this is something that could make his human life actually good.
Yeah.
You always want what you don't have, and all that.
So yeah, he explained it when he said like, "Oh, this was my last excuse for remaining a hawk. Like, fine, I can have someone who loves me." And I was like, "Okay, that makes sense then." But that was just me like, I would figure, that was a green highlight. Where I was just trying to figure stuff out.
Yep.
Okay, so then they're like, "Oh, let's go steal." Okay, so yeah, they want to go into the secret Duke facility, and Jake's like, "Okay, Tobias, tell the Horcrux that we think that Beck's probably in that facility, so we'll go like to get him." And the Tobias is like, "Oh yeah, we tell them that the York place is where Beck is, and maybe it'd even be the truth." He's like, "Man, you were just proving Toby's point about that they can't trust humans, guys.
Yeah.
Like they cannot trust you."
That's what the Animorphs do.
They brought that up.
They just can't be trusted.
Yeah. And then there was, I think, chapter 24. I think had an interesting monologue. That was also where the gay line came up. Where he's like, "Oh yeah, the local Boy Scout group turned you." Never mind. I can't read. The local Boy Scout troop couldn't even tolerate some gay kid. Also, Rachel says that Marco is Urkel, and I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
But I like this monologue. Where Tobias talks about like Toby's like, "Oh yeah, if they push, you have to push back," and he just has this whole monologue talking about like, "Oh yeah, is pushing back necessary? Like it's the fault of the person who pushes first, but like where does that leave you? Then you let yourself get pushed." And then he just like thinks about that in relation to being a hawk, and he's like, "Well, the hawk's different because it's just instinct." But then he's like, "Well, it's not really unique because all humans are like part savage and part saint, and sometimes you have to push back, and other times you turn the other cheek, and it's a balancing act and everything." And and then he's like, "Well, being human wouldn't get rid of that balancing act. It wouldn't go. It's just it's complicated." I thought that was a fun
cool.
chapter. Shoving Hulkbridger's faces in holes dug in the dirt keeps them unconscious longer, apparently.
That's random. It was a cool detail though. I liked it.
That was just, why? Why was it in? I guess it's just canon. That was just weird. Because they knock out some unconscious Yerks, and yeah, that was or whatever. That was weird. I like the whole scene where they're in the place and Tobias morphs Hulkbridger. And then it's like, "Hey, they want to see you. Just talk to the man controller." And the guy's like, "Who?" And he's like, "Oh, the motions to the building." And the Tobias, yeah. And the guy's like, "Is the Visser going to be here soon?"
Yet another. It's stupid that this worked.
No, but it was believable enough, though. And, it's certainly better than, "Hey, look over there."
Like okay.
It was realistic, I think.
Imagine if you're at work and some guy in a suit who you've never seen before is like, "Oh, hey, your boss wants to see you." You probably believe him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part didn't really get on my nerves.
I thought it was a fun little... I think it was clever that Tobias thought of that, personally. And then they said, "Oh, the Visser isn't here, is he?" And then I had the thought that they didn't say Visser 3. Maybe Visser 1's gonna come
Oh
back.
my gosh.
Especially...
Yeah, you keep dreaming.
Is Visser 1 not gonna come back?
No, I didn't say that.
She's not dead. She had a little Bubble the Clown.
She had Bubble the
This book
Clown
isn't
save
good-
her.
This book isn't good enough for Visser 1.
But because then what
I
happened...
really want to see Visser 1 again.
So then he saw Visser 3
It's
flying
not.
in a
Marco's
helicopter.
not narrating. We can't. If Visser 1 shows up now, we'll be missing out on so much angst. We
Yeah,
can't
we
have
would.
Visser 1 show up when Marco's not
true.
narrating.
So what
The
happened
next
then?
book where Visser 1 will show up, it'll be like some stupid book where Marco and Rachel switch bodies or something, and then Visser 1 will show up because Marco's narrating. That's a spoiler. I just spoiled the whole series for you.
To Rachel, who is in Marco's body, and be like, "Oh yes, Marco, my son." And Rachel will be like, "Oh, this is awkward."
Kiss him a bunch.
Kisses him on the lips.
Smoochy smooch.
And Marco is angst like, "That should be me."
God, I wish that were me.
Okay. I have not.
Starts being an Animorph.
The stuff I have to deal with.
But anyway, so when he saw Visser Three in the helicopter, I was like, it didn't say he saw Ariel's face. It said he just like recognized the ponytail, and I was like, what if that's actually Visser One?
Do you think Visser One has like a hot mom body?
Mustard.
What do you mean mustard really? I'm not the one who said the hot mom body thing. Are you talking about me thinking it might be Visser One? How's that reasonable?
They cut. Oh, wait. Okay, is this before? Are you saying you thought it was Visser
guys
before Tobias realized it was Arya, or that you were just that this is another theory of yours? Is that it was Visser One the whole time?
Like both. I mean, I don't think it's actually Visser One. I don't think it was actually Visser One the whole time.
Right.
When they revealed that Visser One, you know, when he came in the office and stuff. No, I don't think that was. I guess it could be, but no, I don't think it was. I thought it'd be cool. Like I was like, oh, they're gonna think it's Visser 3, but it's actually Visser 1. Like,
And then
that's probably gonna happen
Arya,
at some
even
point.
though she was just a regular human. Yeah, that would have been cool.
But
Guys, is Visser 1 thick?
what? Why? No, we're not answering that again.
With 2 C's? Wait, again?
Well, because Stuart just said, oh, you guys
Just
think
said
Visser 1 is a
that.
hot mom
Visser
bod?
One
Well, nobody
no.
answered him.
Yeah, that's the reason. I have better things to think about.
Not really. This
I was
book
like,
wasn't that good.
oh, it was in Morph, :0. Wow, I didn't guess that. Like, so she was going to the bathroom every 2 hours to demorph.
Yeah.
Like, I thought she might be a controller, but I assumed she was human. And then Tobias just hates himself that chapter.
I definitely didn't think she was Visser 3 and more.
Yeah.
Like every freaking thing in the series is.
Listen, and he was like, oh, he hadn't realized how much hope the having a home meant to him, and he just feels. He's like, he says like that was his lowest point, and like.
I went to school and the school lunch gave me an apple and I ate the apple, but the apple was Visser 3 and more.
So my other notes were like, I'm kind of in disbelief that Arya is actually Visser 3. Like Visser 3, the only one who could morph, doesn't seem like he'd be able to do that. Like pretend to be nice and go on a stealth mission.
He can't even like keep quiet, like from Tobias hearing him say, so I guess he wasn't a Yurik, huh?
Yeah, I know. He's so loud.
Well, because at that point that they knew that he didn't believe in aliens. They just thought they were all crazy. But a thought I had after I thought it said he can't do this is that in Hulk Video Chronicles we learned that Visser 3 was kind of the one who I assume was like one of the first Yurks to decide to like do stealth with bodies and like pretend to be people and play out them. So I think he probably has experience of that. He just really likes being big giant monsters and eating people.
Yeah.
And
Weird that he had that idea and now he doesn't do that at all.
Yeah, and he's also just arrogant and stupid and dumb and stinky, but you know, whatever. And then like chapter 28, I was like, wait, so is the appointment thing real? Is the lawyer real? Who is Arya? When did Visser 3 take her? How did the lawyer know her?
Yeah, I'm glad Tobias explained this for us, because otherwise I would not have gotten it.
Yeah, there was like a whole chapter, like the whole page at the end was just
kinda
Tobias
complicated.
explaining the mystery, and I thought it was cool.
Kind of necessary.
So then Tobias assumes the whole lawyer thing is a lie, and I was like, wait, so is this not
More
related
like
to Animorphs
liar.
Chronicles at all? But then it ends up being explaining Animorphs Chronicles. And my next note is my theory of alternate events, but you guys can talk about the scene of him meeting a lawyer first.
You mean meeting the lawyer?
Yeah.
Did we talk about the letter yet?
No, that's what I'm talking about, the letter.
Oh, okay. Let me find my notes for this.
No sniffling. Don't sniffle now while he's looking for notes.
Here, like, get the sniffles out.
Can I keep this in? I'll go my coughs out. Everyone make awful noises right now. It's awful noise time. No, not that. Dude, can we bring that up? There were 2 different things I cut out. We just started doing that. And then we're like, sorry guys, I'm gassy.
I said that twice.
You said that in 2 different episodes,
Oh, I'm
yeah.
so sorry. I'm sorry, you guys.
That's why the second one I sent an outtake to the group chat.
Episode 15.
Maybe okay. I have a small thing I just pulled out of my butt right now, but like Maybe the Andalites didn't have much of a. Maybe the Andalites. It was harder for Andalites to exploit each other because, like,
It would just be you sitting in silence.
We're all watching Andalites frolic in silence.
Welcome to the Analyze Frolicking podcast.
Oh, sorry guys, I was really gassy.
Well, that you pulled something out of your butt, so like I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Gah! Episode 17.
No, because that animal in the field, there's no cause to be doing by.
I think if an animal is dumb enough to get killed, then another animal won't be smarter. Like, what makes a vulture smarter than whatever animal got killed by the
Birds
fire?
of prey are smart.
They can fly.
Birds of prey are smarter than, like, rabbits.
Stuart, did you
Oops,
know?
sorry, I'm so gassy.
I'm trying to get the ginger out of your body. I can do that like against a wall.
Alright. I think I'm gonna go bleach my ears out. I don't know. What's the equivalent to, you bleach your eyes out? How do I bleach my what process would I do to bleach my ears? Whatever that is. I'm gonna look up how to do that, and that's what I'm gonna do now. I don't know why you would, but you can go watch listen to the rest of the episode now.
And it was called like Gassy Put 2. Because you said the exact same joke the previous time.
It's a really bad joke, I'm sorry.
It is, yeah.
It's a good joke. What do you mean?
I think you just started doing that because you just out of habit or something. Please don't get back into the habit of doing that.
Actually, okay, none of my notes were actually substantial for that. All of them are just like, oh, cool line.
So yeah, it was Visser Three the whole time, and he reads off Tobias, realizes that Elfangor is his dad. And that's cool, and he has to...
Oh, dang it, now
actually,
Max and I can't be the odd couple anymore.
It's referred to... Arya is referred to using the pronouns she/he.
Yeah, because it's Visser Three and here.
Because, so, which implies that Visser Three is male even when he's not in a male body.
No, it's because he's a morph. His host body is male. And they know him as a male.
Alright.
I think Yooks do take on the gender of the host usually, isn't that what we determine at some point?
Yeah.
Alright, so since technically his host is male, alright.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just get to my...
a little unnecessary, I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, well, just say like they, but that wasn't
a
common
thing
back then.
No, that wasn't a thing.
Actually, when I wrote
That was
down
a
that quote in my
thing,
notes,
not really.
I just replaced it with they, because like I'm not freaking writing he/she.
When I was like before I went to high school, basically, I would religiously write she/he instead of they. Like I would never write they. I was like they
S/he.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like they is grammatically incorrect. I would never write that. It was pretty silly.
So
the letter.
before this letter happened, like before we walked into the building, I had like this idea, for like I was like trying to figure out what might happen, and I had two theories, one of which was correct pretty much, but I thought, maybe, like Visser Three will keep him there for 2 hours to see if he'll morph, and then Tobias will become a Northlet, and it'll like force his decision.
That would have been so interesting.
I thought that would have been really
cool
interesting.
idea.
That
Yeah.
would be really cool.
But I realized like that'd be kind of, because I was like, I forgot that like Visser Three doesn't know that Tobias is in
wouldn't
morph.
know that Tobias is in morph.
Because I was like, because if he thinks he is an Andalite who was morphed as a kid, that wouldn't make sense. But like maybe he would still keep him there.
Just keep him there for 2 hours, so that then to see that he starts to sweat and try and get out of there, and you're like, that's suspicious.
Oh, you're right. Hang on. If he thinks he's
If he thinks he's an
Thinks he's
Andalite
an
morphed
Andalite.
as a kid, then
You're right,
it's the same thing.
But I think he didn't think that though. I think he assumes that no, it won't make sense for Andalite to.
oversight on Visser 3's part. He should have thought of that.
Here's what I don't get. Visser Three had controllers like ready to jump in and kidnap him at any given moment. I guess we've already been over this, but like Visser Three is a big dumb is the only reason.
Yeah.
Visser Three is a big dumb is the only reason, but like he had all the resources in place to jump him, and he just didn't do it. Like at that point, just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you can just kill him because he's already been missing. But I guess whatever.
So part of the reason I thought this theory was cool is that like it would be unique to Tobias. Like if it was any of the other Animorphs, if he kept them for 2 hours, like they'd just be stuck as human, and like he was like, oh well, this either not an Andalite or just an Andalite who died, which seems unlikely. I don't know. I thought that'd be like thematically cool if he like got stuck as morph and like not by choice.
Of course, he would never be an Animorph again. So another thing about this book was like we can't really have this conflict because we know that Tobias is gonna keep being a hawk.
How do you know that?
Well, A, I have later Tobias books and he's a hawk, and
Well, I
on the
don't.
cover, and B, like what Tobias would just stop being an Animorph, really?
I mean, he was stuck as a hawk for several books as an animorph. So like you can be
he
a
would
human.
just be a human and help.
Sure,
Okay.
you can be a human and
But like,
help
why would Capelgate like take away his power? Like
because he
went
loves
to all
Rachel
this
and wants to
trouble-
be a human.
She did that in
She went
book
to all
one.
this
He didn't want the
trouble
he
to
didn't,
give him his powers back. Like really reverse them again now?
because
No,
he didn't
it's
want the powers back. He
clearly-
wanted humanity.
You're not understanding this. I'm talking about this from a writer's standpoint,
Well-
not from a character's in the book standpoint.
Well, it's the same exact process that gave him his powers back that would give him his humanity back.
The reason she gave him his powers back is because she wanted him to be able to morph still.
Well, I don't.
Because for the book and for like later plot lines,
Well, I'm not a writer, so I
this
don't
would
think
have
about
just like
that.
gotten in the way of stuff. This would have just brought on all of the problems of Tobias being a hawk, but even worse because he doesn't have his special hawk powers.
Well, maybe he would stop being an animorph and then just live happily as
But
Tobias.
he's not, because we have future Tobias
Well,
books.
I don't have future Tobias books.
We know that there's future Tobias books after this. We've talked about them before.
Okay. Yeah, I still thought it was
Anyway,
cool.
so alright, fine. That didn't ruin that for you. Fine,
Okie
whatever.
dokie,
But it ruined it
then.
for me.
Let me pull up my pants first, and then maybe I'll.
Why are we
jump
making so many
to-
dumb references this episode?
Because there's nothing interesting about this book.
This episode, I'm not looking forward to listening to it because I feel like it's going to be the most boring one.
For being a 4 thumbs up book, we just hate it apparently.
Yeah, really,
It was really middling.
Guys, we should have tried harder to be funnier.
I was
by
being
me,
so
I mean you
excited the
guys.
whole episode, talking
Yeah.
about fun things. Tobias says, I didn't care about the fate of humanity. I wasn't human. I was Hawk. But I cared about Jake, Cassie, Marco, Axe, and Rachel. I thought that's fun. That's
I
a
forgot
nice
about that part.
line.
That part was cool.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love just like how tense Tobias is during this letter scene. I'm just looking over it again. It's like, tears? No. One tear and I would die.
It was a good
He
scene.
really wants to cry because he's thinking about how he spent his last moment, Elfinger's last moments with him.
sweet. Aww.
Yeah, and
Like,
and
oh my
he
God.
like he. The
Oh,
thing,
and then after this, I forgot, we didn't say this, but after this, Tobias goes out in the woods and he has to demorph or else he'll be an Nothlit, so he does
Yeah.
that, and then he immediately morphs back just so he can cry about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
It's, like,
nice.
So sad, and so cute.
I mean, so sweet.
so
and-
sweet.
one thing I thought was cool in the scene is now since he knows that they're controllers, he like notices things like the goat seems to stay away from Arya, like he feared her,
Yeah.
like.
Well, I didn't think that was cool. I was just like,
I just thought that was intriguing. This is very intriguing because I was excited
it's not
to see.
intriguing because you already know she's Visser 3.
Well, no, I mean like just this scene in general. Like this is very intriguing. Like this thing is happening.
Intriguing to who?
That was said before they read the
How is this
letter.
interesting?
That was said before they read the letter.
But
So it's intriguing.
what
What's
does
the
this
scene?
have to do with the letter?
I'm saying just
This is just
that was just my note. I wrote this is very intriguing. It's cool that he's face to face with Visser 3 as a human, and Visser 3 is pretending to be
see.
human. It
Visser
was a
3
cool scene.
knows about Elfangor and all this. Very interesting.
And I wrote like, whoa, the elements allowed to actually
It's
communicate.
crazy
That's
because like
cool.
Visser 3 has access to all of Alarin's memories of Elfangor too,
Oh yeah, that's true.
which is makes it. This book is really confusing, trying to figure out like who knows what and how who is connected to who.
Yeah, like my next novel was like, oh, so they know Tobias is Elfangor's son, but they don't know he's an Animorph, and they're suspicious because he's a son. Okay, that makes sense. And I guess
And
maybe
now-
they know about the Elemist. Does the Elemist know what would have
And
been
now,
given
so
to
they
these
know that
guys?
Tobias knows about Andalites, but they don't care because Tobias doesn't believe the Andalites are real. So he's just allowed to
Well, I don't
walk
think.
around knowing Elfangor's name.
I don't think
But they're like, okay, I guess he's just gonna,
Yeah.
whatever. So that's something we probably have to keep in mind for future books. I don't know.
Okay, I mean, if someone came to me and said, hey, just so you know, a race of stupid Jews, one of them is named Blum 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 Blum, he's in charge, I wouldn't remember those names or care about them.
You're right, actually. That's a good point. Elfangor Serenial Shamswell Prince.
And I wrote like, does the Elemist know what would have been given to these guys, to the Yeerks? Because what happened is it's like,
Yeah, I almost can see the future, can't
yeah, the Elemist gave it to like a previous lawyer who died, and then his son was a controller, and I was like,
Yeah, exactly. More confusion.
yeah, it was very, but like the Elemist must know it because like he's an Elemist and he can like see the future,
Mm-hmm.
and but he has a plan, I guess. I don't know. We mentioned this earlier, but I like that when Visser Three is like, oh no, we shouldn't take him. He's street trash. He like seems to feel bad for Dubai, or like he says like, oh he's a waste of Elfangor would be ashamed. His son should be a warrior.
Elfangor would be ashamed.
And he says he should be a worthy
This line is
adversary,
stupid.
not a young fool. It's a pity, really.
I thought that line was dumb.
What? Why?
Elfangor would have wanted his son to be a warrior. Meanwhile, Tobias, an actual
Oh
warrior.
well, I didn't think of that. I just thought it was interesting that like that Visser Three wanted a worthy adversary and was like disappointed. There was just some kid, even though he was
I
wrong.
didn't read that as like Visser Three adversary. I don't know. I didn't think about that much.
Yeah, I think Visser Three was projecting his feelings onto Elfangor.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I did not read into that.
We don't have the
Like
book.
just that
Almost.
that Visser Three like decided to pose this as what Elfangor would have thought. Like he doesn't care, does he?
yeah. I don't
Elfangor
know.
would have.
Well, Andalites are pretty stuck up, so maybe they
I mean
would.
that, or like he did that. He said that specifically to defend Tobias, which obviously makes no sense. It's-
Yeah. I don't know.
Which makes it a stupid line because it makes no sense. and
Well,
it's
no,
just
what I said
there
makes sense because
for Capelgate to jack
it just
herself
Visser
off.
Three's. It just Visser Three's thoughts. I like Visser Three's thoughts.
Yeah, but it really breaks
He was projecting onto
the
Elfangor, I
suspension of
think.
disbelief when they think stupid things that don't
They,
make
there's
sense.
no
That's
stupid.
not- no-
there's zero
no-
stupidness in this
stupid.
book. No
There's no
stupid.
stupid in
This book is 0% stupid. I wondered why the Ellimist had allowed my father to leave that letter, but I didn't wonder for too long because the answer was simple. See, I had a duty too, and who was there to remind you that
Duty?
Who is there to remind you that what you want for
I
yourself?
had a
is,
poopy too.
Duty is in poop.
Gosh.
See, I had a duty too, and
Two is in poop.
Number 2.
who is there to
Stop
remind
reading.
you
This is
that
a good quote, guys. Stop making
What you
fun.
want-
Okay, start over, because I wasn't actually listening.
I'm gonna keep that in because you guys are stupid. I wonder why the Ellimist had allowed my father to leave that letter, but I didn't wonder for too long because the answer was simple. See, I had a duty too, and who is there to remind you that when what you want, who is there to remind you that what you want for yourself is less important than what is necessary and right? Message received, father. Message received. Now,
Good connection. I really like that.
speaking of
I
good
imagine
connections,
him saluting with his wings. When
speaking
he
of
says
good
that.
connections, the way he says "message received, father," "message received."
It's a lot
It
like
reminds
the
me
Elvis
of
thing.
Elvis's famous catchphrase, thank you very much. It's two words,
I thought the
two
same
phrases,
thing. I
with an
thought the
additional
same
word in
thing.
between them. So,
I'm not even-
And that
Yeah,
connects to
a common
Elvis's.
way to say the
It
thing.
connects to Elvis's humanity. It's thematic, just like this is when he realizes that he's related to Axe. In that Axe book, the Elvis line was about his humanity
both-
as a human,
Oh, okay.
and this is Tobias's humanity between
It's
his
the
hawk
same
form.
setup.
It's the same setup. This is just me making fun of Sturbo. I don't actually
Okay,
believe
thank
this.
you. I kind of picked up on that actually.
But I thought it came to mind. It did come to my mind.
If anyone listening is confused, listen to us talk about Book 8 again.
You may have
It's like
listened.
we bring up every episode.
You may have listened to it 10 years ago, but
Yeah, really.
listen to it now.
So the Ellimist knew they'd be Animorphs, and Tobias would be feeling down and need the advice now, I guess. Like,
I posted an Elvis picture in the group.
The Ellimist just does whatever the author wants him to do.
I have
Very
some,
transparently.
I have some stuff to say about the Ellimist later.
Almost
'Cause
kind of
it's-
a Deus Ex Machina.
I have like unrelated to the book Ellimist things I want to say, but so we'll I'll get to that later.
What do you mean later? It's the end of the podcast.
Well, there's still rabbit stuff. So chapter 31 was funny. I assume you guys don't really have any notes on it.
Funny.
I did it. I
What
said
was
this
funny
is
about
I'll
this?
say why it's funny
This book-
soon.
this is the only book
I
where the
loved
character
the ending. It was very cute.
Yeah.
the character doesn't turn into the cover morph until doesn't even acquire the cover morph until literally
Oh,
the last
yeah.
chapter.
Yeah, I know why
That
it's
is so
funny.
cool.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
last
yeah.
page
Don't worry
of the
about it.
book.
Yeah. So he decides to like morph into the rabbit and like he kills the or he morphs the mother. He acquires the
Kill-
mother rabbit
Yes.
and then kills it and eats it. And then it's like, oh, I'm gonna take care of these rabbits, babies. They're safe with me
Mhm.
because I'm like still part
I'm
human.
smarter than a regular rabbit.
You are both Tobias, Hawk, and human. You will always be. You will always kill to eat, and you will always regret. And then he decided to shepherd the babies to safety from the other hawk. And there was just a cute.
Screw you, other
chapter.
hawk who deserves to eat just as much as I do.
No, because that hawk is not saving the world from the Yerks, is it?
And Tobias is a
You're
human,
right.
so this is it was a cool ending, you know, like just thematically and
Yeah,
cute.
it was a thematic ending. Like the reasoning behind turning into the mother rabbit didn't really make that much sense to me. But it was like, yeah, that's just so that can be in the cover, so it can fit the theme.
Well, no, that's
The-
the whole plot.
The reason it's funny, Ster is holding the physical book. In the front, like in front of the cover of the book, there's like
an inside cover.
yeah, not that. But there is an excerpt from the book that kind of give like say what the plot's about.
Uh-huh.
Ster, read off that excerpt
Ster,
for
read it.
us.
Predator and prey. ... I morphed into the mother rabbit, and I shepherded the babies safely back to their den as over our heads the other hawk flew, looking down at us for a chance to hunt and eat. Life would have been a lot easier for me if I could have been a simple, ruthless animal, if all my decisions were straightforward, if everything made sense. But that's not the way it is for human beings. I looked up at the other hawk through terrified rabbit eyes. I had become prey, this time for real. This is what it felt like. This is my prey, what my prey saw when they felt my shadow blot out the sun. It was good that I knew. Sorry, my brother hawk, I said to the shadow of death above me. There's nothing left for you in this meadow. These little ones are under my protection now. And then chapter 1 starts.
So I read that before I read the book. I was like, oh, I guess I'll read this because it's at the front of the book. Might as well read this. And I was like, is it? I thought that's what the plot was going to be about, and because it acts as if that's the main plot of the book. Is that excerpt? That's like the back of the book, basically. Yeah. So I was like, is this just another skunk book, which Tobias just decided to take care of animal baby rabbits the whole time?
That is funny.
And that's really funny that that's what they entitled to. The literal on the last page of the book is what they put in the front.
I like it because it sounds like it could be something like in the middle of the book. Like,
yeah.
oh, Tobias is to morph a rabbit first.
Well, yeah, and I thought it was. I thought it would be in the middle of the book.
It's cool.
And then when but it just
It doesn't really make me want to laugh.
No, it's because it was acting as if that was the main plot of the book. Was what that was.
The book's got a book, dude. Whatever.
What's the inside cover?
That's not funny.
Shut up! You're not funny. But so I just because another reason it's funny though is because I was reading the book.
Yeah, I'd like to see this.
I finished chapter 31. I finished chapter 30, which is the second last chapter. And I was thinking like, did I misread the front cover? Didn't it say something about him morphing like in like that big part of the book? And then it suddenly happened at the end. I was like, oh okay, sure. It suddenly happened because like I wrote like, oh what an excellent book like before even finishing the last chapter. But yeah.
Now, on the inside cover, Tobias, being the mother rabbit, definitely doesn't look like he's ready to shepherd these baby rabbits to safety. They look caught off guard as f***. There's no way that they're going to be able to get out of the way of this hawk, which is like 2 feet from them, in time for them to... So I'm calling Bull Poopy Boo on the cover, on this inside cover.
Well, yeah,
but it's nice.
Don't they say that a hawk's like the
I didn't look at
fastest
the
thing
picture. I'm just talking
alive
about the
in
stupid-
air?
He's the fastest thing
You're saying when you
alive.
read this, the literal, the first thing in the book, you don't assume that's what the book is about?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
He's
I just saying
the
it's not funny.
fastest thing
It's just whatever.
My next note is
Why do you still have notes?
Hilarious.
because
The cake part.
he didn't tell his friends about all the stuff he learned. I thought that was cool. I was like, oh, like, I was curious.
Yeah, why would he?
Yeah. And I'm curious if he will later. Like, is he gonna say, like, oh, hey,
Oh,
actually,
you
my
mean
cousin.
about Elfangor? Yeah.
Yeah, like,
very
is he
interesting.
gonna mention, like, oh, guys, I'm
That
actually
seems
related
like
to
another
Elfangor.
Visser One thing where he like might not want people to know.
Yeah.
'Cause then they might like freak out about it.
So I thought I'm interested in reading like the next books and seeing if that goes anywhere, if that becomes relevant to the plot or
I'm
something.
expecting it to not actually. But
Yeah.
We'll see.
What if the book just starts and it's like, oh yeah, Tobias is Elfangor's son? Like Jake
Axe
just...
is like, this was devastating.
No, what if the book just starts and the next book just starts and Cassie's like, and then there's Tobias, who is Elfangor's son. Anyway.
Yeah. We'll just skip over the whole
Cassie
scene
would
that
do
does it.
that.
Also, okay, at the end I was like, okay, he blew it up by flapping his wing. Why didn't he turn back into a human? And I
what?
was like, well, I guess that's thematically.
It's thematic.
It's thematic.
It's dramatic.
Because
It's
Tobias ain't turned into a
quadratic.
human for Rachel.
Oh yeah, I forgot that a birthday cake. That was cute.
Yeah, that birthday cake right at the end.
But he's not even gonna eat the cake.
Does it say that?
Well, I assume he's not.
Maybe she made it out of bird food.
You're in the bird seed. It's a meat cake.
Mom, can you make
It's a living cat cake.
It's made out of the
Dude.
roadkill.
Oh, I forgot. He
When she saw him eating the
Wait,
roadkill,
guys,
she
the
collected...
Animorph theory. The dead cat on the road was dude.
Oh, no!
Why would you say that?
No.
Dude never came back.
Because I thought it was
Rachel saw him eating the roadkill and was like, Dude, it's like when you write down like when you like check someone's browser history to see like what they want for their birthday. Rachel saw Tobias eating the roadkill. It was like, dude, he wants a roadkill cake for his birthday, and she picked up that cat after he flew away and made a cake out of it.
Nice.
Her mom was like, what is going on with these kids these
What
days?
is that smell coming from upstairs? She goes upstairs and it's just a bird.
It's easy bake oven. Easy bake oven. Yeah, I don't think he has an oven upstairs.
Mom, I really want an easy bake oven, like right now, please.
I don't need any dough for it. I got that taken care of.
Stop. I assume you guys are done with the book.
Yeah.
Okay, I have some insight about Elamists. You guys are probably gonna think this is really boring, as everything else I said in this episode, but that's okay, because this is the end anyway. Have you guys read Slaughterhouse 5?
Yeah, I have.
No. You have?
Yeah.
So part of
the
the
meaning to though.
do you know
Was
what
it
it's,
Just gonna explain what Catch 22
It was a
No!
long time. It was a long
Okay,
time ago.
Good.
it's about 5. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I don't think so. But there's 4-dimensional beings in that book.
What, really?
Yeah.
Now I have to read it.
Yeah. And
It's
like
a cool book for like if you like dimensional stuff.
Okay.
and they really went in, like, I think everyone's like read something was like, oh, fourth dimension, there's time, but they don't like, they went in a lot of detail in this book with Slaughterhouse 5, where like this guy talks to these fourth dimensional beings, and he's like they're like, oh yeah, the fourth dimensional beings are like, oh yeah, the world ends because like one of our people like accidentally blows up the world or something, blows up the universe. And he's like, well, why didn't you stop them? They're like, oh well, we just always will do that, and it always has happened, and there's nothing we can do to stop it. And like they explained like human beings to like the other aliens who like didn't understand how third dimensional beings would work. He's like, oh yeah, it's like, imagine that you're like on a train track, but you're like in a box with a small hole in it, looking out the train window, and you can't turn your head, you just have to be looking at that, and like that's how humans experience time. And like,
why are they explaining it in terms a human would know?
I don't know. They didn't use the word train.
Oh, okay. Imagine you're on a cool, epic hyperspace vehicle that only aliens have. That goes forward on a track.
And like the way they viewed death was interesting, because they were like, oh yeah, we don't care when someone dies because we know they're alive in a different place in time. We can just go look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
And they like the way they see people is like long caterpillars, where like the back of it is a baby and the end of it's an old man. And
Whoa.
It's just scary.
I think about that all the
That's good.
time.
it was just cool. And I don't have like,
That reminds me of a book I read called The Boy Who Reversed Himself, which is basically the same concept, but like the main characters are humans, and it's just them experiencing the same things.
yeah.
Have you
So-
guys?
So they see a fourth dimensional being, and it's like a 3-dimensional like ball or something, but it's constantly like wiggling and like moving out and like changing shape and stuff. And it's the way they describe it is it's like if a human was diving into a pool, and you could only see the cross section of
Yeah.
what their body would be like at the exact surface of the water,
Yeah.
and like how that would change and move as they went through the pool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
But it was
But
a
in
book.
3D. Yes.
What
it's a
book was it?
The Boy Who Reversed Himself by William Slater.
So I don't have
Heard
too
that
much
name.
to say about like how they
Have you
relate
guys
to.
seen the movie Arrival?
Yes.
It's basically
No.
the
Wait,
same plot.
wait, with the alien one you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically the same kind of thing
They
as.
communicate in math or something.
I thought that was a really cool movie.
Yeah, I
Don't watch
love
the
that
trailer.
movie.
Don't watch the trailer though.
I know.
full of
I've
stuff.
seen the trailer, buddy. I know what the aliens look like.
Oh no!
Well, I love
It didn't seem like that much of a spoiler from the trailer.
I
It
love
was just
that.
exciting to watch, not knowing what they look like.
I watched that. I
Okay.
love that movie.
I'll take your word for that.
But it's got kind of like the same kind of plot as Slaughterhouse 5. So that's another really cool movie.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like also as aliens who
Okay,
don't
okay.
experience time as one thing.
Oh, I forgot that was a plot.
Their
I
language.
need to watch that
It's so
movie
cool.
again.
Their language is a circle. Like their writing is like circular. Like it's like the whole writing system is like they write everything in a circle. It's really cool.
That's okay. It doesn't sound that cool, but okay.
It's cool. Let's watch. We should all watch it. It's fun.
It's like if instead of a human writing from left to right, what if a human wrote in a circle?
No. It's not
That-
just
that-
that. It's
that's
like
what
what
it sounds
Doctor
like.
is.
it's like a circle, but they designed the circle with the different things.
It's
Like,
a really cool circle.
it's
I
a really cool
promise.
circle.
Anyway, back to
I
Slaughterhouse
assume it
5.
looks like a spirograph or something.
I don't know what that is, but okay.
Spirographs are cool. I had one when I was a kid.
I always wanted one. I don't know if I don't think I ever said I wanted one, but there was one in daycare, and someone else was always using it and I wanted to.
I'll send an image.
Anyway, so just reading Slaughterhouse 5, I obviously I had the Elamists in mind, and I didn't really have much to connect to it, but I just thought it was cool insight, like learning about fourth dimensional beings to such depth. And maybe it can reveal like why the Elamists choose to interfere how they do. Like maybe there's just one rogue Elamist, and like, oh yeah, we always know that this one's gonna go do that. But also I went back to Megamorph Chronicle or Mega Andalite Chronicles, and it said like, I'm sure we've discussed this already, but I totally forgot about it. The Elamist says, I undid an error in the space-time continuum. Chapman plays a part in what is still to come. And I was like, that is weird, okay. And that just like, so like even like, it seems like the way Tobias always talks about the Elamists, he's like annoyed at how they do things, and he's like, oh, these guys are inconsistent and just doing whatever.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's the thing with Capelgate's like making us think that the same way she did with Yerks, and then like kind of gave them sympathy in book 19. I think it's gonna be something like that with
The
Elamist.
Alchemist Chronicles. Can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited for Elamist Chronicles because of that.
Well, we better read the books fast then. It's like the last Chronicles book.
Oh
Really?
really?
Yeah.
Oh, Visser's first.
First is Scissors first.
I guess that makes sense actually.
Alright, well, I'm excited to read Visser 2, I guess.
I'm excited to read the next Animorphs book. I'm always excited for these, man.
Oh, you want to talk about the preview for the next Animorphs book?
Oh, I didn't even look
Oh,
at that yet.
yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I'll get my joke book ready while you guys look at that.
Want to read it out loud? I guess maybe it's
We're
too
gonna take
too
turns
long.
like we did last time.
How long is it?
Might be
Oh, I
too
did
long.
look at like the ads in the book.
1, 2, 3, 4, and a little bit more.
We can read that if you want to.
We're under
Yeah,
2.5
I do.
hours still, so we don't want too much.
Do we want to take turns or go in a
Yeah,
circle?
let's take this.
It'll probably make it more interesting.
I'll read the first page. Don't miss Animorphs number 24, The Suspicion.
Sus.
Sus. I was getting small very fast. I've shrunk before when I've morphed various insects, for example, but this was new. I was shrinking as a human. The only good thing was that at least my morphing suit was shrinking too. Bad to be shrinking, worse to be shrinking right out of your clothes.
Whose book is this? Cassie, right?
Of course, it's Cassie's.
Hey, I yelled, what'd you do to me? What did you do to me? Ha! Your glory in your swollen, bloated bulk, human. You dare to defy us? We shall see how bold you are when you are the same size as we. Now you will taste bitter defeat. Now you will feel the sting of eternal humiliation. I don't glory in my... Hey, who are you calling bloated? Wait a minute, stop this! I was still shrinking. I started at 4 foot something. Now I was less than a foot tall.
Oh,
And
Cassie's 4 foot something? Okay.
Makes sense.
Hang on. So theory, they
Wait,
mentioned
I want to read last.
You do?
Yeah.
Alright, stir.
Next
page.
before I go to the next page, I'll just say. So they mentioned that if ants were given nuclear weapons, they would destroy the world. Are these like evil ants?
I can't wait. This sounds very compelling from what I've just read.
This is unusual.
Yeah.
Continue.
And I.
And go on.
Was still shrinking.
Was still shrinking
With you.
I glanced over and saw a
I
raccoon.
glanced over and wait. What did you say?
I saw a raccoon.
Oh.
It was bigger. It was bigger. It was taller than me.
Oh my gosh!
It was bigger than I was.
No way.
Not to mention,
It's like I've been shrinking or something.
not to mention being a million times more hostile.
No, the raccoon was growing bigger.
Cassie! I spun around and spotted Tobias swooping in like a 747 coming in from a landing.
Price is gonna eat
For a
you.
landing. Tobias, look out! They have a shrinking ray. A what? Flash. Never mind, you'll find out soon enough. Haha, you all think to resist the might of the Helmicrons because you are large
Man,
and because you
it's
glow
so cute
with a
hearing
transformational
hearing
power.
you pronounce Helmicron for the first time.
It's very cute.
Why?
Because I know Helmicrons. I've known Helmicrons for 10 years.
Man, this is gonna be epic.
But we too know how to use the transformation power. Shrink, shrink, and become.
Wait, is that a sound effect?
No, that's in the speech.
Okay.
Shrink,
Is
shrink.
he like commanding them to shrink?
you human.
Yeah,
That's some
become
fetish
our
stuff.
abject and pitiable slaves.
Oh, that God.
Wait, say that again.
Shrink, shrink, and
This is the
become
most
our abject and
mustache-twirling alien
pitiable
we've met yet.
slaves.
This is like some Sub-dominatrix.
No one's gonna hear what Stur's saying because we're talking over. Whatever, it's fine.
Who cares?
Yeah, we
We're
don't
gonna talk about it
care.
later.
Hey, Tobias said, sounding puzzled. I'm shrinking, and you've already shrunk.
Oh my gosh.
Tobias, you have to warn the others not to come in here. Somehow they're using the power of the blue box to do this. I can't leave you.
Oh.
You're less than 6 inches tall. Warn the others, I cried. Tobias turned, but he was shrinking fast. He was already down to about hummingbird size.
Oh no.
Suddenly, the door was much farther away from him.
Oh no.
Who is he reading
It's
next?
my turn, yeah. How many pages is this?
I don't know.
Do we have to read like... Okay, it's only one more and a half. Well, this is unfortunate, he said. A huge galumphing form appeared in the doorway. Marco, get back, I screamed. But of course what he heard was, get back, in smaller text. Flash! Hey, Marco yelled, no flash photography.
Oh my
Marco,
gosh.
quick before you shrink. Warn the others to stay out. Say what? Before I what?
Oh, this is gonna be
But he
stupid.
turned and yelled over his shoulder, Jake, Axe, Rachel, stay out of here! I could see him peering down at me. His face was about the size of the Goodyear blimp. If it was about to land on top of you... Oh, this isn't good, he said. I was shrinking still further. I was already as small as a cockroach. The roof of the barn already looked like it was in the sky. Oh, they're in a barn. That's interesting. A dim overhead light might as well have been the moon. Marco was standing on sequoia legs with feet the size of twin Titanics. But
Thought he was gonna say twin something else.
what
Yeah,
specific
really.
descriptions? What's happening in there,
I think the
Jake?
Twin Towers were mentioned in this book, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
This
The
is just a
Wall Street Center.
shrinking fan
It's not a big
fiction.
deal.
I like that they all walk in like, oh no, I'm shrinking now. It's like they all
Hold
go
on,
to
This
this-
what's
sounds so
happening?
stupid
It's
enough
like-
to be a weird fetish.
It's like
thing.
them
That's
all
the
like-
problem.
It's like them all like slipping on banana peels.
Yeah.
Just all of them one by
They-
one.
They all slip with a shrinky banana
Wait, no,
peel.
tell them about the banana peel. Wait, what was banana peel? Oh, I'm slipping. Oh, no.
What's happening in there? Jake yelled. Well, Marco said calmly, the Helmicrons have the blue box and they seem to be using it in a kind of bizarre way. I'm coming in, Jake said decisively.
No!
No,
Jake!
Marco yelled, in a voice that already sounded like someone breathing helium.
No, Jake and Axe, do not come in. Then, as an afterthought, he said, Rachel, you could come in.
Nice.
I'm so excited to read this book.
This book is gonna be great.
Marco Tobias chided.
Wait, so this is the last book before she started ghostwriting?
This is K.A.
So this is Kay Applegate, like, this
Well,
is her death
26
throes, is this?
26 is also K. Applegate for some reason.
Yeah.
And 32. Marco, Tobias chided. Hey, the Wicked Witch gets to be full size, and I'm down here singing, we represent the Lollipop Guild? I don't think so. Rachel, Jake, everyone stay out, Tobias cried in thought-speak that we all heard clearly. Okay,
Oh.
everyone just stay put, Jake ordered. Look, the other Helmicron ship took off. Rachel hit it with a brick. I would have laughed, only I was now shrinking down to the point where scattered bits of hay on the ground were looking like huge felled trees. Grains of dirt were the size of soccer balls.
Wait, so they're outside?
They're in the barn, Cassie barn, I think.
Ooh.
I think I'm done shrinking, I said. Not that anyone heard me. Something flew into view, something that seemed weirdly large. Tobias. He was roughly the size of a very small fly, but he was
Oh,
about as big
nice.
as me. I think I've stopped shrinking, he said. Me too, but we're the same size. I should be smaller than you. I started out much smaller than you.
Dude, she can ride on his back.
I guess that's how it works, I said. I think the idea here is to shrink us all to the same size as the Helmicrons themselves. Marco, now no more than 3 inches tall himself, came walking over. He was huge to us, but his face was getting closer all the time. Oh man, you guys are small, he said. Honey, I shrunk the Animorphs. Rachel, get a brick, Jake said in a huge voice that reverberated around us.
Honey, I shrunk the
Oh, shrunk the
Animorphs.
Animorphs.
It turns out the Yerks are not the only invaders of Earth. Now new intruders, the Helmicrons, are smart, powerful, and no bigger than a grain of sand. They might not be able to fight humans one-on-one, but they have the technology to shrink other creatures down to their size. It's a big battle at the tiniest level, the Animorphs, the Helmicrons, and Visser Three.
Oh,
Oh
boy.
my gosh.
Tiny Visser Three.
That's horrible.
I like how it says ... and Visser 3, like, as if this is a surprise.
Yeah.
So Visser 3 exclamation point. Coming in November. The Animorphs have a tiny problem, and evil things come in small packages. Oh my god, there's a library card in here.
Yeah, it's like someone's 20 years overdue.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got stamps from 2000.
Wow.
Oh, that's not when this was new.
And
That's when the book was
signatures.
new.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the book was kind of new. Yeah. And it says Applegate K.A., author Animorphs, title The Pretender.
Don't read the actual names.
I'm not gonna read. It just says DJ and Dylan.
Wait, hang on. Was this? No, never mind.
Date due March 8th, 2000 and October 3rd, 2000. That's so cool. Man, the past, you guys. Can you believe things happened in the past?
It's the same.
So let's theorize about what this title could possibly mean. The Pretender. Oh, it's Visser Three. Okay, end of episode.
Oh, we didn't talk about the cover yet.
Uh,
Tobias has weird chicken legs. Okay,
it's
done.
Tobias morphing.
Tobias has weird chicken wings.
Oh yeah.
Ghost Tobias is here. There's the background is like a nice gradient. It goes from orange to purple.
The bird morphing into a rabbit looks kind of weird compared to. I think it looks
does.
worse than most of his. I guess he's not
I
used
like
to
the
doing
middle
animal to
morph
animal.
where you can see like the hawk eye on a rabbit's nose, basically. Rabbit's mouth, basically. Except, as we know, a hawk doesn't have a face.
Jokes. Oh, wait.
Yes,
I mean
know
natural.
first.
I'm better.
I'm mustard.
I'm stir.
Here's the joke. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Anita.
Anita,
Anita.
new bag of beans.
I need a man to love.
I need a bath. I'm dirty. That's actually true.
No, that's not who I am. You know me. It's me, Anita. I don't know where to go with this. Do I just say it now?
You don't have a hint that you can give us?
You're close. I mean, you're on the right track.
Anita
Obviously,
Shaw.
why would you
Something
ever?
else Anita?
Why would you ever use the name Anita
Okay.
in anything?
It is one of the basic human needs.
I need a glass of water.
I
need
need
a house.
sex. I need a
love.
sex.
I need
boy.
safety. I need a shelter.
I need
You basically got it.
I need a shelter.
No.
I need a house?
No.
You need a home?
No.
I need a hamburger.
I need a drink of water.
I need to eat meat 3 times a day because
No.
I'm an
I
American.
need a drink of water.
I need a drink of water. I wrote like a full version of the stupid Animorphs app. I'm gonna put that at the end. It's just the theme song for the drums. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool. I like how the beat is different than how it normally is.
It's the same. It's the
That
same.
starts on the wrong.
Okay.
Count.
Okay, that's something that I said to Be Natural. I was like, oh, she started singing the song. I was like, that's not how it goes. Yeah, you guys like assume it starts on a different beat because of
We
the.
assume it starts on beat 1 because that's when it starts.
No. There's a fade in.
Okay.
So the actual beat of the actual tune is how it is in here. I thought that was interesting.
Play it again.
Yeah, I'll continue.
Oh, this sounds like an actual beat instead of some sort of weird thing that makes no sense musically.
Oh no.
This was randomly generated.
No, it wasn't. I made it. Oh, then the drums cut off.
Yeah, see, the fade in means that I don't hear the first note, so it does sound like it's a long beat. This is your fault. You're a bad musician. I like the original version though. I like how little sense it actually makes.
See, it makes perfect sense to me, but I guess the fade in ruins it. Oops, I never
It
noticed
does.
that.
It really does.
What doesn't ruin it?
No, it doesn't ruin it. It just makes it different than how you thought it was.
Start it over.
Like it starts with like a there's like a this is the beat loop right here. That's the oh so how did you think it went? Can you sing it? See, that's not at all how I imagine it. Mine's like do 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 do.
Yeah, I know.
I don't hear that at all.
See, I just cut out the notes that I don't imagine as part of the main tune. I just ignore those because they're just on every beat. Or some of them. I ignore some. Anyway, we can stop
Oh,
recording
so
now.
you're
Start it over. Start it over. Start it over.
Do I pull the
Hello,
beat back
we read the
Yeah, just start
Pretender.
over the beat.
up? The actual beat or the rap beat?
Whichever one was the fade in? I don't know.
Okay, here's the beat right here. Do you want me to loop it?
No, I don't know.
Okay, so here's the one I use for the episodes. And then it lands on the last note too. Yeah, that's a really big fade in.
Yeah, it is.
I should always use the exact same file, which is the one with the fade. I don't know why I use that one and not like just the files, but